Over the years, a lot of madmen, maniacs, and lunatics have made their way right here to Memphis, Tennessee to try to make themselves a reputation off of the king. And another one that comes to mind that did just that was called Man Mountain Link. Now, this guy is strange.
3WA Southern Heavyweight title match. Rather bizarre beginning as a representative of the First Family, by proxy almost. Jimmy Hart managing Man Mountain Link, who was sent to him by Andy Kaufman, going against Jerry Lawler. But don't forget, Kaufman still has that $5,000 bounty out for anybody that can hurt Lawler, put him in the hospital. Link goes for his throat. He may be the missing link. And once again, he's going after Lawler's head. 5-minute call with 55 minutes to go in this one fall 60-minute time limit bout. Link back in the corner after the King. Minutes into the action. It's a long 1-hour time limit match. And Mountain Link, all the aspects of a circus geek, came in eating raw chicken. And Lawler, as I said earlier, can never take any of them lightly. I think Jerry, combination of factors, emotionally drained, possibly from the bout with Dundee, and also a little taken back, his guard down a little because of the unusual appearance of Man Mountain Link. Starting to pound away with that right hand. Crowd has been waiting for this. And he finally gets him off his feet, but he's right back up. Hart jumped up from the ring edge and nailed Lawler with that cane right in the side. Man Mountain Link dumps him down with a slam. There's the big splash. 400-pounders on him. 1, 2, 3, and what has got to be one of the major upsets. Man Mountain Link has defeated Jerry Lawler for the Southern Heavyweight title.
Well, Man Mountain Link got exactly what he wanted, a match with the King. And we're going to show you the highlights of that right now.
Lawler got his attention with a good solid left and another can bet your bottom dollar is not going to horse around with this guy. I think he was off of an emotional letdown with a big battle he had previously with Dundee. May have taken this guy a little too lightly. And look at him, here he goes again. Just a big bruising chop. Ooh. Waller swinging back. Tags the big guy. He's got the 400-pounder wobbling. He's staggering, but hadn't gone down. Nice down. The referee's asking Jerry to keep him open. I don't think that'll happen. Ooh, and as Lawler was coming off that rope to nail him with a big right hand, Hart may have tripped him up. I didn't exactly see. Did he trip him, Randy, off the rope or not? Could you see?
I think he tried, but I think that Link just moved out of the way, and Link misses. Lawler out of the way.
Randy Hales at ringside. And Jerry Calhoun over there with Jimmy Hart. And Lawler said he was going to barbecue the pig, and barbecue him he did, but the referee over with Hart kind of 1, 2. He got him.
Instead of getting a handshake from your town's mayor, he headbutts or body slams you. So,
sounds interesting way to say
yeah,
hello.
no kidding.
That's a real possibility in Lexington. You see, a professional wrestler is running for mayor. Fox 8's Jim McSorley has your ringside analysis.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Pro wrestler Rick Link has been called a lot of things. Man Mountain Link, Missing Link, Beastmaster.
Came in eating raw chicken.
Now he wants to be called Mayor Link. Seriously.
Very serious. When I was a kid and lived here in this town, you walk up down this street, and I mean, it was packed all the time. Businesses opening every store, and I mean, now you got businesses closed around here, and I mean, something needs to be done to enhance downtown Lexington.
Said he was going to barbecue the pig.
Even at 6'2", 385 pounds, Link may not be the biggest character running. In this corner, standing 6'5", 315 pounds, Marvin Boog Callahan. Disabled from work, Callahan spends time singing in church. Why run for mayor?
It's a good question. I didn't particularly want the job. I just wanted somebody to stand up and be counted.
Instead of a championship belt, this bout is for the power of the mayor's chair and the power of the mayor's gavel. Mayor Thomas says the job should be taken seriously, though, and not solely a contest based on name recognition.
I would hope that people and the other candidates will come forth with more of a platform than just name recognition. My focus has been on strategically planning for the future.
At 5'9", 152 pounds, Mayor Thomas has a good sense of humor about the race.
Hope to meet him on the platform somewhere, but not in the ring.
Are we going to wrestle it off there or fight it out, see who is the mayor? That'd be a good question, because I believe I could take it.
The difference between me and Boog, I've made a living 22 years whooping people like Boogie Woogie guy there, you know, so that would be no problem whatsoever.
There's the big splash.
The candidates square off November 4th. Jim McSorley, Fox 8 News.
All right, if you watch politics, we do want you to keep an eye on Lexington's mayoral race. 2 men are challenging the incumbent.
That's right. That alone could make it interesting. Senator Simpson shows us there's a lot more to watch when a man known as the Beastmaster is involved.
In this corner, at 152 pounds, the incumbent. The challengers weigh in at considerably more, but all are serious about their candidacies.
Oh, I'll take on anybody. I don't discriminate. I mean, I'd body slam you right here, right now, if you give me reason to.
What makes this Lexington mayor's race more like a bout or a match is that candidate Rick Link brings 22 years of pro wrestling experience into the race. But then again, the other two candidates have their own unique talents.
I know that I would never be this blue.
Marvin Callahan has a voice as big as his desire to stir up the status quo in city government. Mayor Richard Thomas brings experience to the job his competitors cannot claim. But make no mistake, championship belts aside, this is a serious political race between men of conviction.
And, you know, they're talking about annexing, going out further, and I think you should concentrate on what you have before you go further and bite off more than you can chew.
I'm doing the things that people really care about. We're trying to build jobs, trying to make more efficient government. As long as I do those things, that gives me all the publicity I want.
We've got the wealthy people in town that are financing the elections and are keeping the same people in there.
Link says he'll use his tough guy image much like Sheriff Hagee to make the world notice his hometown.
Well, I believe having a 6'2", 400-pound bald-headed mayor wears earrings that's traveled all over the world, made a living, beat people up would naturally bring attention to Lexington.
He probably won't really body slam any of his opponents, but there's no doubt that this mayoral election will be a little different. A little polite, subtle intimidation will come into play.
So are you worried?
No, not especially.
You know, back when I was in the Navy, I did some fighting. But with my back, I couldn't wrestle him.
In Lexington, Leonard Simpson, News 2, your Piedmont coverage team.
I'll tell you, Mayor Thomas is a retired CPA. Marvin Callahan is retired as an electronics technician. Link says he's nowhere near retiring from wrestling, but he has pared back his schedule to appearances primarily in the Piedmont.
We'll see you at 6. Good night.
So, you're one of the few guys, I would have to say maybe there's not too many people that started wrestling at a younger age than what you did.
No, I started training when I was 15, turned pro the day after my 16th birthday.
So maybe only Terry Gordy.
Terry Gordy, I believe he was 14 when he did IWA TV and lied about his age, said he was 16. Yeah, there ain't been many that started at 16.
I think Ray Stevens, when he really young.
Probably Ray was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Who was your first match?
First match. One of Johnny's guys under a hood.
You talk about Johnny Hunter, getting trained in that time period, it wasn't, you know, we'll teach you a couple bumps, and now all of a sudden you're in the ring.
You got your ass beat. 5 days a week.
How often were they running then?
Oh, Johnny would run at least 4 times a month. He'd run every Saturday, but sometimes Friday and Saturdays.
So how long did it take you before you felt like you were smooth?
I trained about 7 months before he let me get in the ring.
Yeah, so you really did get trained then?
Yeah, in those 7 months I put up the ring.
One night it's Danville, Virginia. The next, Concord, North Carolina. No red carpet here, just worn-out padding to break a wrestler's fall. Some in these parts call it wrestling with a twist.
This is my 23rd year, turned pro in high school, Lexington Senior High.
His name is the Beastmaster, Rick Link. When he started wrestling, he weighed just over 200 pounds. Now, he's pushing 425. Enough weight to tear almost anybody up. This night, Link will wrestle a man they call Abdullah the Butcher. He weighs 525 pounds. Later, they'll take on each other for the World Brass Knuckles Championship.
Brass Knuckles title matches are no holds barred, anything goes.
It's one of the biggest matches of the night. And while other wrestlers are already in the ring,
how they feel? Feels good.
No rules means a lot of things, and his forehead shows you that.
I just want to say...
And whether it's in Concord or in front of millions of people, wrestlers have to know how to talk.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Piece of meat. Yeah, come on.
You're the only meat I want.
here. It's Abdullah the Butcher against the World Brass Knuckles champion, the Beastmaster Rick Link. He has been around, John, New Dimension Wrestling. In fact, has dominated New Dimension Wrestling to an extraordinary degree.
Rick Link won the Brass Knucks titles from Mark the Maniac Lewin over 10 years ago, and has still successfully held that title. Only briefly lost it to Kamala 2 in Thomasville, but then regained it a week after. Right now, it's a battle of two immovable objects, actually. And to tell you the truth, Chris, I think you'll recall this, but I believe Abdullah looks pretty good for a man who was electrocuted on last time we saw him on WCW.
Look at these two monsters. My God. These guys each about 400 pounds, possibly a lot more. And Dave Ruth has got more guts. He's the referee, more guts than I ever would getting in between these two guys. These two known as real bleeders, I guess, in the business. And when these guys get cut, look out, because the blood is going to be flying. There's a lot of tension here at ringside because we know that these guys like to fight outside the ring as well as inside. John, really, I don't know that anybody is, in terms of his size and in terms of his wrestling ability and knowledge, is the equal of Rick Link like Abdullah the Butcher is.
I think this is going to be a really tough match because you see Abdullah the Butcher has already pulled out his, it looks like he's got a fork there. He's well known for that. He's matter of fact, he was one of the best friends of the late Bruiser Brody. And it looks like the Butcher is carving up another turkey in Rick Link.
He's got a fork, my God. This is so gross. I don't even know what to say. And Link has never been treated this way before. The cameras are all obviously getting a close-up. I'm not quite sure how close, however, that we want to get. I'm Chris Cruz, and we're here at the Concord, North Carolina Motor Speedway, and the referee has got to step in here. Look at Butcher. What's he doing? He's cutting Link into shreds. Oh, my God, this is gross. The Butcher has got an actual fork. Oh, my. Family and friends, believe it or not, of the Beastmaster Rick Link are here around ringside, and more than a little bit concerned as well they should be. Man, the referee is really allowing Abdullah the Butcher a lot of leeway, and the fact is, whether you allow him leeway or not, he is going to take it. And man, Link is really rocked very early in this match, and that's something you never see. You never see from Link. Oh, good God. Oh, he is stabbing him in the chest with a fork. My God. It's spurting out. Yeah. Oh, this can't be right. This can't be right. He's got a fork. Why doesn't the referee do something?
I believe this is a Brass Knuckles title, so it's no disqualification. And I know one thing, Abdullah the Butcher is definitely taking liberties as far as that's concerned. Well, this is going to be a bloodbath. I tell you, Rick Link is known as really the hardcore champion, and has really captured the fans' favorite in New Dimension Wrestling, which is really fascinating. Uh-oh, he coming over.
Oh, look out. Link has literally been stabbed, and he is a bloody pulp and a mess. And now comes Abdullah the Butcher out. They never met a table they didn't like, and we are getting out of the way. Oh, look at that. Link now on Abdullah. What, has he got a chain?
It looks like he pulled a chain out. He had it on. You're talking to the wrong person if you want me to do something. I think it's the referee has really just thrown the rule book out and let him go ahead and cheer 6.
Oh, Link is a bloody, nasty, gory mess. And he's getting, oh no, oh, he stabbed Abdullah the Butcher in the top of the head with a fork. It's easy. Oh God, he did it again. Oh. Well, I gotta tell you, they're in the ring a lot more than we thought they would be, John. We thought they'd spend most of the time wrestling outside the ring.
I tell you, this is really an awesome sight to see two men this size. It's amazing the ring can hold this much weight because these two guys are really just pounding each other. No quarter given. And both just tough as they could be. And it's amazing to me to watch how this match has continued to go. I didn't expect this match to last more than a couple of minutes with the offensive onslaught of Abdullah the Butcher, but Rick Link's found a way to fight back. And boom! He also Rick Link just took care of Abdul the Butcher's manager.
Well, now Link has thrown out yet another object that he was using. These guys are probably laden down with as many objects as you can count. And the cameras are really zooming in here because this is the real action still to come, of course. We've got Tully Blanchard against the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. A chop there from Link on the top of the already bloody pulp of a head. That's Abdullah the Butcher, who has probably been cut open more times, and my God, he's licking his own blood. Abdullah the Butcher is licking his own blood, and Link, what is Link trying to do? Pop out his eyes? Oh my God. And Link is spurting blood as well. With every exertion, he has nailed the referee. He has nailed the referee. Oh my God, he's been stabbed with a fork. Now Butcher. Oh, wait a minute, the referee is back up again. The referee is back up, and he's got a lot. Oh, boy! Abdullah clocked him. Oh, yee! The referee, talk about leeway. I don't know if you can even justify this. And the fans are awfully close to the action. Oh, no. Some kid has got a tray. Some kid has got a tray. Oh. All right, guys, I guess we could have figured that would happen. I can't believe what's going on here. Abdullah is being stabbed in the head with the fork. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Oh. Some fan has just gotten hit. Some fan has just got... And the fork goes flying and the blood goes flying. What in the hell is going on here? They're trying to break it up. And no, there goes the table. Here's the World Brass Knucks title. Whack him over the head with it. Why not? Oh, no, look out. Abdullah the Butcher is going through the crowd. Look out, here he comes. Oh, please put a stop to this. Hasn't there been enough carnage? Oh, gee, Abdullah the Butcher has headbutted me. Oh! And he does it again. And the blood is now on these, apparently this security. Nobody can get these two apart. This is out of control. Oh, a headbutt and a bloody one at that. Oh, God. Oh.
Chris Cruz, this is totally out of control here. Abdullah the Butcher, the Beastmaster Rick Link, classic new dimension wrestling action coming your way. Folks, you don't get it anywhere else on the independent tour. For ECW, USWA, they can't even keep up with something like this because the guys do not have the guts to step in the ring with Abdullah the Butcher. And I check.
Well, the huge demand, obviously.
Independent wrestling organization in the world today, by far with the greatest wrestling talent here tonight.
Well, no, Abdullah is going after the cameraman. No. Cameraman, get back in there. Do your job. Get back in there and shoot the action. So we pay you for God's sakes. What will you expect?
The match lasted less than 6 minutes before both were disqualified. And like any other hardcore match, the blood and the fighting went another 10 minutes outside the ropes.
People want to see blood. They want to see violence. And they pay 10, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Me, I feel I'm obligated to give them what they want. You know, my body suffers for it. I feel like, you know, I don't rip people off. They get what they paid to see and then some.
And what they got was a close-up look at professional wrestling backyard style, something they rarely see on TV.
And Link says he'll wrestle as long as his body can hold up to it all. Remember, we told you that he actually ran for mayor of Lexington last year and lost. He told me during that interview that he plans to run for mayor again of Lexington in just a few years.
That was a little rough.
Yes, it was.
Now, tell me, what kind of living can wrestlers make?
Some of them do very, very well. Rick Link wrestles 15 to 20 times a month and makes anywhere between $500 and $2,000 a night. So
wow.
A very good paycheck.
A very good paycheck indeed.
Matchup is scheduled for one fall. With a 1 hour time limit, it's for the World's Brass Knuckles Championship. Making his way to the ringside area first, the champion is the Beastmaster, and his opponent, making his way to the ringside area, the challenger. He weighs in this evening at 502 pounds, and he's from Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher.
Alrighty, wrestling fans, and welcome back to another big New Dimension Wrestling program. Chris Plano here along ringside in Burlington, North Carolina. The one we've all been waiting for, the World's Brass Knuckles Championship. The Beastmaster Rick Link against the Madman from Sudan and Abdullah the Butcher. Folks, this one has been talked about for weeks. Chris Cruz escorting Abdullah the Butcher up to ringside. Guest manager Chris Cruz, former WCW announcer at ringside here for this one. And Rick Link is being very aggressive right off the bat here with the international superstar Abdullah the Butcher, carving him up with a foreign object in his head. Folks, this one isn't going to be pretty here tonight. This is going to be a pair 6 brawl. If you are looking for a wrestling match, turn your TV set off now, because this one is for all the marbles. The coveted World's Brass Knuckles Championship on the line here this evening. Rick Link looks like he has some type of metal foreign object in his hand, just pummeling Abdullah the Butcher in the head with that gruesome foreign object. And let me tell you, Abdullah is looking bigger than ever. Chant from the crowd getting on Chris Cruz here. And Link's got Abdullah tied up in the ropes here. Referee Dave Ruth has the unduly task of controlling these two behemoths in the ring here this evening. And this one's going to be a wild one. Karate chop by Link there on Abdullah the Butcher. Link sizing his man up there in Burlington. Looks like it's a slight chokehold on Abdullah now. No rules in this one, folks. When the World's Brass Knuckles title's on the line, there are no rules in this one. Anything goes. And Abdullah looks like he's biting the rope. And wait a minute, folks. Abdullah has got that famous patented fork in his hand. Abdullah pulled a fork, I believe it came out of his boot, and he is going to work on the head of the Beastmaster Rick Link. And oh my gosh, Link is bust open. He is bleeding profusely and heavily from the forehead area. And wow, what a close-up shot there, folks. The Beastmaster Rick Link covered in blood here by the hands of Abdullah the Butcher, and Abdullah is literally carving Link's forehead up with a fork. The crowd here in Burlington is in awe to what they are seeing here between these two behemoths, as you could say, go at it in the ring for the World's Brass Knuckles Championship. Scheduled for one fall with the 1 hour time limit. Wow, Abdullah just stabbed Link in the chest. Wow, Abdullah just stabbed him in the heart. Oh my gosh. Abdullah is stabbing Link in the heart area of his chest, and Link is bleeding profusely. Folks, I have been told that the executive committee has an ambulance on the way to the Burlington Athletic Stadium, as both gentlemen now, including Abdullah the Butcher, are encased in blood. They are giving everything at each other here in Burlington, and now the action has been taken to the outside of the ring. Abdullah is just carving the Beastmaster Rick Link up. Link seems to be just trying to do whatever he can to retain that World's Brass Knuckles Championship. Security surrounding these two guys, making sure the crowd stays well away here in Burlington. Abdullah and it's tough to tell by vantage point. He is a bloody mess as well, but minuscule compared to what the Beastmaster Rick Link looks like, and both gentlemen are just choking each other outside of the ring. A right by Abdullah and a return right by Link, and both men choking each other out, it seems here. They would like to choke each other down to the ground. Referee Dave Ruth has lost complete control. Listen, wait. Oh, Abdullah just hit Link with a stool. Link returns with a right. Both gentlemen again have those chokeholds in those trapezius areas on each other, and now they're making their way over. Oh my gosh, they're making their way over to my area. Well, Abdullah with a right. And Dave Root just caught a right at the hands of the Beastmaster Rick Link. And both men are right in front of the crowd, and folks, they are loving it here in this one. Here in Burlington, the crowd is going absolutely crazy as these two giants battle it out here in Burlington, North Carolina. Rick Link trying to carve the head open of Abdullah the Butcher. A little more Abdullah with a right, and he sized Link up on that one, and wow, Link felt it. He is stumbling. Oh no, they're coming over our way. Toward the announcer's table. I'm out of here. Oh! Wow, over toward the announcer's table. I am out of the way here. Chris Cruz is out of the way as well. He's some 5-6 feet away from me here in Burlington. And these two men are going at it. Abdullah now has Link's groin and is squeezing it on the announcer's table. And Link is pummeling Abdullah from behind. Several road agents from New Dimension Wrestling are near me here in this melee. We've got Miss Misty Tompkins, a road agent for New Dimension Wrestling, has run for her life from the ring announcer's table. Several media are in attendance here as these two are still brawling. They are brawling down third base line here at the Burlington Athletic Stadium. The crowd is actually following them, out of their seats toward down third base line as these two behemoths look like they're taking it out to the parking lot area. And now security's intervened. Dave Root just got pummeled by Abdullah. Oh no, Abdullah's got a trash can. He just nailed Dave Root with a trash can, and Abdullah has had enough. Wow, looks like 6 minutes, some odd seconds. This one's going to be declared a no contest between Abdullah the Butcher and the Beastmaster Rick Link. Two out of control for this one. Let's get the official announcement.
6 minutes, 57 seconds. Referee Dave Root has ordered both wrestlers out of the ring. A no contest at 6:57.
This is the match.
Wahoo McDaniel.
Wahoo McDaniel, one of a kind, man. He was a great friend, and became real good friends with him after I wrestled him the first time, and became a good drinking buddy.
Angelo Paffa.
Oh, he was something else too. The miser definitely wasn't a gimmick with him.
Tony Hunter.
Tony Hunter. Well, that's my trainer's son, and right before he died, he said, Rick, he said, my son's a mark. He said, please take care of him and teach him this business if I died. Well, naturally he died. And I took care of Tony and obviously taught him too well because he's treated me like a piece of shit since he become a big shot.
Bob Geigel.
Bob Geigel. I loved working out there. Didn't make a whole lot of money, but had a lot of good times.
Ole Anderson.
First guy that kicked my ass.
Ivan Koloff.
He was a great guy.
Buzz Tyler.
He was trained 6 months before me by Johnny Hunter. And actually, I believe me and Buzz were the only two guys of Johnny's he trained that won titles in Central States.
Speaking of him, how about Johnny Hunter?
Johnny Hunter. He was amazing. He worked a lot in NWA in Georgia and Florida, and was trained some by Bobby Shane, the King, and Ron Wright. And I met him when I was actually president of the Ronnie Garvin fan club. He come to take out an ad in my bulletin to sell a ring, and found out he was a wrestler, and I just aggravated him and begged him to train me until he finally did. Set up a ring in my backyard when I was 15 years old.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Well, he was my favorite wrestler naturally when I was a kid, because I was president of his fan club, and ended up, after running that, 3 or 4 years later, I was in the ring with him.
Jerry Jarrett.
Jerry Jarrett. He was always good to me. Made a lot of money in Tennessee. All my trips out there.
Jimmy Valiant.
Jimmy Valiant. Come here and buy this picture, brother. The original gimmick man. Gotta love Boogie.
Jerry the King Lawler.
Jerry the King. Probably wrestled him 100 and some times. Always good to me. Good matches.
So previous to when it seemed like there was a lot of you guys, Rick Starr, George Gray, Dan Doyle, yourself, Jay Eagle, you're all from this area. You're all working on the independent level at that time. At one point or another, you're probably all in the same locker room on a lot of shows. Was it evident that all of you were talented enough to be in the NWA, or did you not, or territory, or did you guys really not realize how good you were on the independent level?
Well, I always thought I was good enough. But actually, when I was working for Savage up there, I was doing Atlanta TV too. At the same time.
And your partner there was Billy Joe Good. You guys partnered up a little bit on TV there.
Yeah.
Did you guys partner up on independent shows and stuff too? Or?
Yeah, I'd run shows up here, and he'd come work for me. And he'd run some down there.
Which he ended up being Grizzly Boone, correct?
And it ended up being Grizzly Boone, yeah.
So while we're on the subject of Georgia, what are your memories of Georgia Championship Wrestling?
Oh God, no, that was nerve-wracking. Half the guys coming there would be assholes, and I guess some of them were. It was, you hear about guys worrying about their jobs and stuff like that.
What's that story there with you was tagging with Ivan's giving you spots and Ole yells out?
Oh yeah, my first time ever in Atlanta was '79.
That's a great story.
Me and Bill Drumo was working Ole and Ivan. Well, Ivan knew me from up here in IWA days with Powers and them.
Yeah.
So he was selling like hell, and Ole was just having a fit tag. He come here, he started beating the shit out of me, hooks me and just cranks down and all that. And
you told me there was a line there. I hate to throw it out there, but he said, "Cut the fat ass off." Is that true?
Yeah.
So he was just that cut and dry. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
So this is a little bit off the cuff. Now we're talking about someone's not real happy with you, or not real happy with where the match is going, and now all of a sudden they're going to come in and physically let you know that, you know, we're slowing you down, kid. That's basically what the message is.
Well, he slowed me down, that's for damn sure.
So then you, after Georgia, did you go straight to Central States?
Wait, before you say that, let me ask you this. With Georgia, how did they pay the TV guys? About $100, or was it better than that? Or
75.
Yeah, that wasn't bad then for a weekend.
Of course, in the 79 and 80s, 75, you know, was
pretty
good.
Yeah, what normal rep was about 150 or something.
And then I'd drive to, then I'd either work a spot show down there. If they didn't have me nothing, I'd have something either in South Carolina.
And how did they pay on the spot shows? Do you remember?
They pay you a check the next week.
I mean, was it decent money?
All depend on how I drew. Usually around 50 to 75.
I know.
You know, was working on.
I know. Always said in his book that if he booked a guy, try to get him three dates, one for TV, well maybe 2 TVs and then a house show. And he said, guys be picking up, you know, part time, he'd be picking up $250, $225 a week.
That's about right, $200 or $300, especially if I got the Columbus TV.
People would say that sounds low, but you got to remember it was $3.35 an hour minimum wage.
Yeah.
So you had to work 40 hours, make $120 back in. So that was pretty good money.
Make a couple hundred for 2 or 3 days, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your memories of going to ICW?
ICW. It was a pretty good learning experience. Everybody was real good to me. And
there were several guys from this area that went up there. Jay Eagle.
Yeah, Jay Eagle.
Did you guys do that together?
No, they went before me. Jay Eagle, Danny Doyle, Rick Starr, all them guys from South Carolina and George Gray, one-man gang, they all went up there at the same time.
Rick Starr was a pretty good worker.
George made it big, and Ricky Starr, he became the Cadillac blonde, convertible blondes with Rip and Pez. Gary Royal, he went to. He ended up being their manager most of the time.
Was there a real struggle there? I know you weren't necessarily an owner or a booker, so maybe there were some things behind the scenes that you didn't get to see, but was it evident that there was a consistent struggle with ICW just because of the area that you guys were in? You couldn't get the best TV slots, you couldn't get the top arenas? Or was that not really apparent? You were just happy to be there?
Well, yeah, I was happy to be there, being around all them big names, Ox Baker, Ernie Ladd, they was all there. But every time I worked, they always drew. I mean, I did the TV maybe once a month, and then did Johnson City like every like 2 times a month. They run every week, and I'd do it twice a month. And then he would use me on some spot shows in Virginia or Kentucky once in a while, and they, you know, colleges and stuff like that. And they were usually packed. I never saw a bad house there, so I thought it was big time.
Well, they must have thought a lot of it because there's some guys that never used past TV.
Yeah.
I mean, there was several in that crew that I know didn't work house shows. So
And they got stretched pretty good on TV.
Oh
too.
yeah, especially with Garvin.
Garvin and them guys, yeah.
But after Georgia, did you go over to Central States at that point, or where'd you go after Georgia?
Georgia, I went to New Zealand.
You went over to New Zealand?
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
I just sent pictures in. I just sent a bunch of pictures out everywhere. Sent Lawler some, sent Geigel some, and sent some to New Zealand, and they actually called me back up before I even got to call them.
You see, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Back in that period time period, all you had was a picture.
Yeah, that's how you got booked. You just sent pictures.
You know, regular on TV where people would see it. You had to send out. All you had was an 8x10. All the guys on the Independents, that's all they ever sent me was an 8x10. And you went by the way they looked and say, can I use this guy in a certain position or whatever. So who was the booker over there then when you went over to
Mark Lewin.
Was it Lewin?
Yeah.
And then that's where you met Lars?
Yeah, Lars was on that tour.
New Zealand is almost like a forgotten member of the NWA.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, we talk about the prominent members, but On the Mat was a very prestigious television show, drew some very high ratings over there in
For
New
a
Zealand.
long time, yeah.
What were the house shows like when you were over in New Zealand? Are they still pretty good?
Most of them was. Some of them be a couple hundred people. They would run anywhere from a civic center to a theater with seating just on one side.
So at that time when you were there, was Mark Lewin and Lars Anderson were there? Were there any other guys, any other big name guys on the tour? Because they were a pretty small crew.
Flair came in the first 2 weeks we was there.
Is that when Lewin beat him?
Yes, when he won the belt, and then had the referee come out and switch it back, and then
Yeah.
they had the rematch.
Yeah, Lewin was a pretty hot baby face there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
How did that draw when they brought in Flair? Did the house go up?
They was more or less the same when we worked him when he was gone, because when Flair was gone, me and Lewin was on top against the Mongols for the tag titles. So it was, until we got to think me and Lars going, me and him would be against each other on top.
Maybe you don't know this. Were they getting any other TV over there?
I don't know.
So they don't even know maybe Flair any more than they would anybody else possibly, correct?
No, they knew who he was.
Oh, they did have that information. Well, I guess through magazines they probably would. Or that
Yeah,
kind
because
of
they would show. Because they would show matches of
Oh, sure, that's right. They'd have
Georgia
pictures
and all that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so they knew he was.
Did they have wrestling magazines? Did they have their own wrestling magazines in New Zealand, or did the PWI reach over there?
Yeah, the magazines reached there. But they had their own programs and stuff they'd print up with our pictures in them.
There is no way that I'm going to get a lumberjack match with this man. This man is crazy. You understand what I'm saying? This man is crazy. You're going to have Opie around the ring. You're going to have Rick on around the ring. Giant David 6 foot 10 or something around the ring. Hang on. I am not going to get in the ring with this bad man. This man, no. Forget it. It's out. It's too late. Never. It's too late. It's already done. It's already done. Anytime, any place. I have been assured by the promoters that it will take place. I don't know where, but I hope it's here, and I'm going to tear Anderson apart.
You seem really mad about something at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't like fat farmers running around the world with bogus checks saying that they're going to put up $1,000 if anybody can slam them. The fat farmers and bogus checks don't get around here. Get out of my face. You're a fat farmer with a bogus check. I've got cash dollars. Cash dollars, you understand? Cash dollars, not bogus checks. You stay out of my business. Get out of here. Quit running every time I get out here. Hey!
Take him on a lumberjack match?
Lumberjack match! Lumberjack match. We've got people around the ring. There's no reason for a match like that. I have never taken a backward step in my life. And I never will. You understand that? I have never taken a backward Don't push me, fat man. Let me get out of big face. If I don't take care of you, leave off you to take care of you. Steve Hoppy is not going to take care of anybody. You fat man, you want a lumberjack match? Bring your boots and trunks. You bring your boots and trunks. You bring them. You understand what I'm saying? You bring them. It doesn't matter if it's in New Zealand, in Hong Kong, Singapore, San Francisco, Honolulu, Tahiti, Samoa, Tonga, Alaska. It doesn't matter, fat man. You bring them. Nobody's going to harass me. Nobody's going to harass me. But I'll tell you what.
Keep running all the time.
I'll tell you one thing, fat man.
Tell me.
I'll tell you.
Tell me, big face.
You ain't going to be around. You won't be around for a lumberjack match with me.
I'll be around.
The action begins with Gore, the Mongolian, up against the mountain man, Link.
Mongolian Gore and man Mountain Link locking up into a arm lock there by Gore, but Link is throwing him off. Gore bounces off the stomach of man Mountain Link. 400 pounds. Forearm and he just stands there. And now Link rolls across the ring, takes Gore by the Gore trying to slam, trying to pick Man Mountain up, and no! Whoa! And what a slam as Man Mountain turns the tail, Gore runs with him, bounces off Man Mountain. Man Mountain calling for him. Come on, he says. Gore not knowing what to do. Rolling Gore now in the side headlock. And down the fly in the side headlock. Gore with Man Mountain on the rope, throws a knee and then a forearm. Man Mountain just stands there. Gore throws another one. Doesn't take any notice of any of these blows at all. Now he throws a fist in the jaw of Gore to Mongolian, and Mongolian hits the canvas.
Well, Gore normally no lightweight. In this case, that's what he's been used to.
No, he's certainly no lightweight, but up against the 400-pound Man Mountain, he certainly looks like a lightweight. Gore trying to rake the eyes of the Man Mountain. Referee warning him. Stranglehold applied, the referee again applies the count. Big and bad. And Link on the rope. Stranglehold again, referee calling for a break, warning Gore. Gore, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, and Man Mountain taking over. Gore throws a fist in the stomach. Makes no difference. And another one. Gore thrown into the rope, and Man Mountain waits, things turns into him, and again, Gore the Mongolian bounces off. Crowd falling, Man Mountain. Certainly a popular wrestler. Breaking the eyes.
Well, I think Gore might be getting a little frustrated.
He certainly is, Barry. He doesn't seem to know how to handle this big hulk of a man. Again, Man Mountain throws that Gore the Mongolian into it, sends a big elbow in the chest, knocks him down. Getting ready, looks as he's down for the big splash. Oh, he brings the big blow right across the chest of the Gore the Mongolian. Anderson's in the ring. Zar rolling from the ring. They both take over on Man Mountain. Then they're still standing there as Zar pounds away and Anderson pounding away at the arm. Floor jumps up on the top of the Man Mountain. The bottom is gone. The match is over. The referee will have disqualified Law for the interference of Zar and Anderson. But both Zar and Anderson are holding on. And, oh, what a brilliant Man Mountain just brings them together. And he knocked Anderson off him. Now he's fighting the three of them. Zar in the corner. Man Mountain punching away. Two of them rolling. The heads thrown together. The heads thrown together. The best thing to win. The winner of the world. Man Mountain Link.
Was he pretty strange?
Yeah, he was strange, but he was a nice guy. But he was strange, and I believe that was him working a little bit just to make people think he was strange.
Those matches go over pretty well because there's really, as far as footage of him in the ring with Lawler, there's really only that one match. Other than maybe some clips here and there.
It was a tag match, but not
when me and Andy teamed up against Lawler in a handicap match, it was a picture of us working on the front page of the Louisville paper. I got that picture on my Facebook.
But those matches were pretty...
Oh yeah, and plus they'd raised the ticket prices too.
You guys probably didn't have to do much of anything. People just wanted to see.
Oh, I had to do it all.
Right, you had to do everything.
I had to do all the work, and then I'd get Lawler down, tag Andy. Lawler make one little punch back, and he'd come running and tag me back, so I'd have to do it all. Same thing with Larry Sharp. When Bam Bam turned on Larry, they brought me in to team with Larry. So me and Larry was working Bam Bam and Lawler in another time out there.
I remember that. How many runs did you have there? Just the two, or did you?
I had 5 different ones.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you were going up tagging against Bam Bam, some 86? 86 or 87?
It was 86 probably.
I think that's when he first started.
Bam Bam came in.
He just started. He was just starting.
He started around late 85 or 86 or something. Then he went to Memphis, his first main territory, I think.
And he did suplex me without me giving him a boost.
Is he the biggest, for Big Man, was he the best mover you ever worked against? Or one of?
One of, I'd say him. I always thought him and Jerry Blackwell.
Oh, Blackwell, yeah, of course. I forgot about you. You would have run into him in Central States, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Traveled with him some.
But isn't that amazing how he just did that standing drop kick out of nowhere?
500 pounds and belly to his knees, and he could jump up and kick you in the face.
And he could do a split.
Yeah, he was amazing. Well, boy, I know he traveled with me and Crazy Luke a lot when he was in the territory. We'd all stop at the store. Luke would get a 6-pack, I'd get a 6-pack, Jerry'd get a 6-pack of Coke and 12 candy bars.
Yeah, he was. They probably hated to see him come into a buffet then.
Yeah.
What about Crazy Luke? What was he like?
Oh, we ended up becoming good buddies, and I'd worked shows for him.
Did he earn that name, Crazy?
Oh yeah, he was crazy. He had a antique shop in Georgia, Lexington, Georgia.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the fire station was across the street. He'd run shows over there, and the first show he ran, he had me and him against each other, and he probably had 500 people jammed in that fire station. And the population there wasn't but 200, but he drew 500.
Yeah. I know he ended his career basically, I think, working with Jody Hamlet. Them guys are in the local independents there. I think that's pretty much where he wound down at.
You're in Memphis. You're in this hot angle. The whole country's talking about it. So that's a pretty serious deal. What's it like when Man Mountain Link goes into a restaurant or goes into a grocery store?
It got pretty aggravating. You couldn't go nowhere and eat out in public without people aggravating you, which I wouldn't mind, signing something, but they wouldn't leave you alone. They just want to stand there and talk and talk and talk, which you didn't mind that too if they was going to pick up the tab.
When Kaufman was out there, did he try to stay out of the public? Because I think it would have been a little bit different story.
Yeah,
if he went out.
Only time I never went to no clubs with him, but he would come to some of our motel rooms and drink a little bit with us.
But he didn't really get in the public eye.
No, not that I know of. He always stayed at Peabody, which is the most expensive hotel.
Who was the booker when you went in there at that point? Was that Lawler?
The first time was Lawler. He brought me in. And then another time I come in was Tom Ernesto brought me in one time.
That's right. He was like a commissioner kind of thing out there.
The original assassin and original Great Bolo, Tom Ernesto.
He was actually the original bad guy general manager, because that's what he did there. He turned into,
Yeah.
he ended up like managing the Stomper or something against Lawler and all that kind of thing.
He was a booker, brought me in, and then Roger brought me in one time, and he was booking. And then I believe Jarrett was booking one time and brought me in.
What did you like Lawler's booking skills?
Yeah, because he always did me good.
He always liked the characters, didn't he? He liked the big guys, he liked the characters, he liked the put himself in that underdog role where you go over and then he eventually wins it, like a Rocky story.
Because he had just won the title back the week before when he wrestled me, and I was coming in a nobody,
Right.
you know, looked like, you know, just going to whip somebody.
And who was that? Who did he beat at that point? Was that
Dundee in a loser
I
league
was gonna
town.
say,
He
yeah,
went to
okay.
Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And but the night I wrestled Lawler for the belt, I was only been there 3 days, and they come over. Lawler wants to see you in his office. Yeah, here you go again. I'm all nervous, and he says, "What kind of finish should we do tonight?" What he asked me. I said, "Well, whatever you want to do." He said, "Well, if I was new in the territory and the booker brought me over and asked for a finish, I'd tell him I want to go over." That's exactly what he told me. I said, "Okay, whatever, you know." He said, "You think you can draw?" I said, "Give him a chance, I think I can."
How long did you have the title?
3 weeks.
So that's a pretty good run there for that, because that's...
Usually most guys had it for 24 hours.
Right, yeah, that was, usually it was a thing of just changing to get... He liked having them stats too, where you had the title so many times.
Yeah.
But at that time, you had some really famous people in those cards. There's Ken Matera and Jesse Ventura and Stan Hansen. There was a lot of talent went down.
Well, me and Ken Patera teamed up against Lawler.
And I was going to say, we got a match of that.
And Lawler had to beat Patera to get a shot at the title Patera had. So me being his partner, they figured he'd beat me and then get screwed out of the title. But he beat Lawler. Lawler beat Patera instead of me.
That's interesting. I didn't know.
Now you're there. You went in there in '83.
Mm-hmm.
It was your first time in there. Is the Rock and Roll Express there yet?
Oh yeah, they were there.
So they were already there by the time that you got there.
They were there, yeah.
Okay.
The Fabulous Ones were there with the Moondogs doing their feud.
Because I always, which is something that will eventually be on our channel, some people don't know, I'm sure that you do, but some people don't. The reason for the Rock and Roll Express coming to Memphis is because Lawler had eventually said that he wanted to be an owner. And there was some tension there between them. And Lawler had the foresight to say, if I'm going to split and run my own thing, I have to have someone to compete against the Fabulous Ones. So Robert was in Florida, Ricky was in Southwest, and he called them both and told them to come. By the time they got there, him and Jared had already kind of patched that up. So
yeah, well, Lawler already knew Ricky anyway, because Ricky had already worked out there.
Right.
Because he was trained by Sonny King.
And Robert had already been through.
He had been there with his brother.
Before in '80 or '79.
With his brother, yeah.
So that's where he got
Ricky Dixon was a hell of a hand, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I worked him several times. He was a shooter too.
So that's why I didn't know if maybe
Because I nailed him a time or two, and he sure gave him back and said, "Is it going to be this way or you want to work?" And I said, "I'm ready to work, brother."
Because I know that to have some extra insight on what that time was like, but if you would have got there after the team had already gotten there, that was probably already patched and everything.
Yeah, it had to be because they were already getting pushed. The Fabs were against the Moondogs, and Rock and Roll were feuding with the Grapplers.
Did you know anything about that split possibility?
No, not really.
Nothing nobody ever talked about it?
Not
So
really.
If we do a little...
Somebody'd get mad every once in a while, and then they'd be happy.
We're actually going to be doing a special on that. That's why I was asking, because we can use a piece of your clip about that, but we can actually use the fact that you didn't know as part of it as well.
Yeah.
But I guess Lance Russell and Jerry Lawler was going to branch off. There was a promise of a share of the ownership, and it just... Lawler thought that Jerry was being hard to get along with when Jerry...
Yeah, I've read about that.
Yeah, it's just simply forgot it, and I believe that when he says...
No first-hand knowledge about it, but
So if we're going to do
I read about it.
some fictional booking, if they split, Andy Kaufman probably goes with Jerry Lawler.
Certainly.
You're there with Lawler now. If Lawler splits away from Jarrett, do you think that with Lawler's ability to create characters like Kamala, or give you this or give a guy that, his creative ability, would he have became Vince McMahon before Vince McMahon?
I think so.
Everybody would have been a cartoon. Well, the gimmick had been all these monsters.
Yeah,
and then
because
he
Lawler,
would
you know,
then-
he's an artist anyway.
Right.
He's got them cartoon, got the comic books and all that. Yeah, he would have been Vince McMahon before Vince McMahon was.
Do you think it would have lasted, or because he was never full-time booker? He'd book in the summer when Jerry would go on vacation.
I believe it would have lasted, and I believe it would have lasted longer being kayfabe than it did with Vince.
That's good. I like to hear that. That's a good point.
Because Lawler was very serious about kayfabe. But back in them days, if you didn't kayfabe, you could get your ass whipped.
And now we're at...
Now you ride to the show together and get out behind a building together.
Yeah, or somebody shoots on you, blackball the guy that was doing the shooting, no
Black-
matter what the
blackball the
situation
guy.
was. Blackball. Now, what does that mean now?
Even though his father's a legend in the business.
Yeah.
But I know all about that. Brad told me what happened. And
Well, you know, here's the other thing. Does any of these guys saying blackball even know who Gene Anderson is? Isn't that amazing? But they probably don't. You know.
yeah, they probably don't.
You know, I mean.
Well, here's the question. If what he did was so wrong, how come nobody whooped him in the locker? Because it should have been handled in the locker room. That's what everybody said.
It should have handled the locker
Well,
room.
then they should have handled Brad in the locker room. So how
So
come
there's
no
30
one-
guys in the locker room. Why didn't they kick his ass?
See, my thinking on it is, I want to book Brad now.
Yeah.
Because he's got automatic heat, is known as a killer. You know, put him out there. You know.
Somebody called him the Dollar General Brock Lesnar for independence now.
Well, I don't think you walk out and say a guy's a job guy and call him Zan Panzer and don't expect to get slapped around.
You call a guy a jobber when he comes from a legend family like the Andersons, and then
break his kid's ribs,
and then you shoot an angle beating up his kid who's still in training with George South, and you break his damn ribs. The kid should have known better than getting there anyway. He should have known he was going to get
I would have
his ass
never
whipped.
done that match.
He
And
should
I
have
would have
known he was
never, I
going
would
to
have
get
never promoted that match. I would have stopped that right there for that happening.
He should have known he was going to get stretched.
After Memphis, we'll just say Memphis in '83. Where'd you go after that?
Memphis '83 went straight to Kansas City at the end of '83.
Was you ever in Continental?
No, never did make it.
I wondered about that because that seems like that would have been a perfect fit.
Yeah.
We've covered ICW, Georgia, Central States, New Zealand, Hawaii, Memphis. Were there any other areas that you would have been into that maybe we don't have down?
I went to I worked for Calgary, Stu Hart.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
I went to I never went to Canada, but Smith booked me on their British West Indies tours overseas, and went to Antigua and Montserrat.
I remember you told me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How did those draw?
Oh, the first one was 20,000 people.
Wow.
What year was this?
82.
So you still had all the boys too.
And that's when I was working. Yeah, that's when I was working for Savage too. And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "It's a good deal. You better go take that." You know, because I'd ask him, you know, about things when I get offers and stuff. He said, "Yeah, I wouldn't turn that down."
What's your feelings on Randy Savage?
Oh, he was always good to me. Even after he went to WWE, he still would call me and ask how I was doing, or when he come work here, he'd ask people if they know me, and tell me hello. Never forgot me.
He was the kind of guy that he was a little bit grouchy until you get to know him, and then after that you opened up to. He was a little bit paranoid sometimes about.
Yeah,
people.
he was paranoid. I know one night I worked one of the house shows up there, got some color, I believe for the Sheik, and man, I was gushing like crazy, and Savage was back there, and he said, "Man, that was beautiful, man." He said, "Thank you for doing that for me and for doing it for the Sheik." And he said, "You're the best juicer in the business." Ronnie Garvin was sitting there, and he said, "He's the second best." And Savage said, "No, he's the best juicer in the business." And Ronnie got mad at me because Randy said that.
Oh, that's nice. You had to work him the next night, right?
I had to work him the next week. And after 2 or 3 of these big hard ones, I said, "You know, Randy said that, brother, not me." And then he kind of snickered and lightened up.
That's good. You told me one time that when you were in Hawaii, that Mark Lewin would swim out in the ocean until you couldn't even see him.
Yeah.
How far do you think that was?
Well, God, it'd have to be several miles at least.
Can you imagine?
You'd think.
Was he a machine?
Oh, he was. And when I was in New Zealand, I was 24, and he was 48 then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had to be. Me and Lars worked him and Steve, and the matches in there wasn't falls; they were rounds.
Yeah.
6 minutes each. And every time you worked Steve and Mark, you had to go at least 8 or 10 rounds.
So you're
10 times 6, that's an hour.
45 minutes to an hour, yeah.
With an hour, or out with a minute rest period in between. So when you work Steve and Mark Lewin, you had to be in shape.
How's the psychology work with that?
Oh,
Are you working, if you did 10 rounds, are you working 10 6-minute matches? Basically that formula, you're working up to a finish right as the bell's ringing, or are you telling a story?
Wrestling, doing holds and telling stories and wrestling your ass off, really.
Could you set something up in round 10 that happened in round 5? Or is that too long of a time for the fans to be able to remember?
Probably too long.
But you could do round 9.
Probably round 9, killing me in a domino stretch, and then get out of it in the 10th round, maybe.
All on the fly? You're calling 10 falls
Every
on the fly?
bit of it. Never worked up nothing in the back. Did it all on the fly in the ring.
Yeah, when they start putting out them dance routine charts on the floor nowadays for their matches and writing everything down on the notebook.
Yeah, how do you call?
I don't ever book the guy again. Never.
You can't. That's ridiculous.
How'd you call your cartwheel, back handspring, suicide dive, moonsault on the fly?
I just saved it for pay-per-views, and then they knowed I was doing it.
What an experience you must have got being able to go to all these different areas and learn from all these guys. I mean, was everybody open? Were the vets saying, hey kid, if they want your match, don't do this, don't do that?
Yeah, but if they liked you, they would help you out, but if they didn't, they would ask to work you and beat the shit out of you.
Is that right?
But I was always looked up. I guess they saw my love for the business and all that, but I remember back when I was working for Powers, even before, when I first started in '75, when I was doing TV every week for IWA, they brought in Killer Buddy Austin. He was sitting in the dressing room. Nobody knew who he was but me, because, you know, I was a fan with the magazine stuff, and I said, Killer Buddy Austin. He says, how do you know me? I said, well, you're the world champion from California and stuff. Just like that. He took me under his wing. And then Carl von Stroheim was another one.
Did you take pictures at the matches when you first started doing the news?
No, they was kayfabe, man. If they told you to stay in that dressing room, you stay in that dressing room.
So when you first started in the wrestling business, you had a newsletter. I've got old magazines where you had, like, the ads would be in there for it, and how to join the club and all that kind of thing.
It's just pictures I'd snag from Gene Gordon or something. But
oh yeah, Gene Gordon.
If you was on shows, you didn't even ask to have your picture made with anybody. You'd be considered a mark.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up for the people who might not know.
Out of all these territories, who had the best pay?
The best pay?
Maybe not the best draw, but where you made the most money.
The most money?
Most money for the draw.
Yeah, based on what was going on.
When I ran shows.
And see, that's another part we haven't talked about yet. You booked some pretty big shows yourself.
Yeah.
In fact, the night I was supposed to meet Johnny Hunter, who I talked to on the phone for 10 years, and you for about 8 or 10 years, we was all going to meet in person for the first time. We all knew each other, talked for hours on the phone, and that was the night Mr. Hunter passed away.
That's the night he died, yep.
That was a hell of a show. You had Nikita Koloff, Ivan, Boogie.
Yep.
I'm sure
did almost 10 grand in a little old.
Nikita, yeah,
had,
it was.
Had Moolah there.
Wasn't it Denton, North Carolina? Yeah. And
sold more tickets than were population.
Actually, that was the first time I met Jay Eagle. You're right. Mola was the first time I met her.
Buzz Tyler was there.
Yeah.
George South and Gary Royal was as herself in Cruel Connection.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. I mean, it was Dan Grundy was there as a Russian assassin
against Nikita. Yeah.
And I remember how shook up you were that night. Yeah. I believe you didn't work that night. Is that correct?
I had my gear on, but I ended up just.
Yeah, you were too upset.
I said, just let me run this show.
And that was a sad. I mean, that was just like out of nowhere, wasn't it?
Yep.
I mean, I was just getting ready to go in there and introduce myself, and I see this older man being wheeled out the stretcher. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah, I was over at my gimmick table.
I thought somebody got hit.
He walked by me and he said,
stupid.
He looked at me and he just smiled and he shook my hand. He said, we did it tonight, baby. We did it tonight. Took 5 more steps, collapsed, and fucking died.
Did he have a bad heart, or did
he actually he had his first heart attack when he was in the ring with me.
Is that right?
In 1979. And he died 10 years later.
Yeah, that was like 89, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, died 10 years later. And he ended up, they found out he'd had about 5 heart attacks, but he had one, was wrestling in Statesville.
He was somebody that had a lot of respect from name wrestlers. He did a good job of bringing people in and taking care of them and paying them what he said. He was a good promoter.
He always paid what he said he would. People joke about him about getting paid donuts, but you know, if he said he was going to give you $20, you get $20. If he said he was just using you to use you and get some donuts
So he was straight up.
It's a bonus. Oh yeah, he didn't, he didn't bullshit nobody.
You're known in this area specifically for, you've been a brass knuckles champion, where you had that title a long time. How long do you think you had that on and off?
I had it the first year I was in the business, so over 40 years.
How did you get that title?
I was just always into the bloody matches and stuff, and Johnny said, well, you'd be a good brass knuckles champion.
You ever worked for Rick Bernard with that?
Oh, 100 times.
What was he like?
First time I worked him, he beat the shit out of me. Then we ended up being buddies, and he was light as a feather.
Who's your favorite wrestler growing up?
Favorite wrestler growing up when I was a kid, probably like George Becker, Johnny Weaver, and Infernos. And then when I got a little older, I liked Ronnie Garvin, and Rip Hawk, Sweet Ass, and guys like that.
So what made you like that? Now they call it hardcore, then they didn't call it hardcore. What made you like that style?
Well, it wasn't really hardcore then. It was just, I liked the bloody matches. And then back in those days, there were a lot of bloody matches. So, a lot of people liked the bloody matches. That was just hardcore in those days.
Now, what town did you grow up in as a kid?
Lexington.
So how far were you away? Well, I guess you were close enough where you could have hit multiple Crockett shows in a week.
Well, I saw a Crockett show once a week, was 2 miles from my house. They ran weekly at the YMCA in Lexington. And my dad sold tickets, so I got in free every week for years, till they quit running. And then I was 35 miles from Greensboro. I was 18 miles from High Point, where they did their live TV taping.
Did you ever think to
and I went
yourself,
there a lot, and then of course Charlotte was 60 miles away.
Did you ever think to yourself that if they'd stayed in their area, they would still be running?
I think so.
Do you think that was a major mistake to
I
try
think
to
they
buy out other people?
They bit off more they could chew when they went up north and tried to.
And then they went out west where it wasn't as...
Well, it was stupid. If they would have stayed, because Crockett was a millionaire from just running 3 states: North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia.
And they added Georgia. That's basically all they needed, really. I thought.
Yeah.
But it just when they went to New York, it was kind of like out of their element. It wasn't the same. It's not the same kind of wrestling. It's not. And they had interest at first.
Plus, it took more money. Guys couldn't drive up. They had to fly everybody, and of course, Dusty had to have his own jet.
Yeah, well, they spent a lot of money there foolishly, and it was a shame because I thought that was a great family, and who knows what would become up for all of us at some point if it continued.
Yeah, I worked for Crockett when I would come back home from being on tour somewhere. They would give me a shot or two to make a few.
They had 3 crews a night at one point, didn't they?
Yeah.
They sold 3 crews when you were in the business? When you were getting started?
Yeah. 4 if you want to count Blackjack having Knoxville.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it spread out the work. I mean, there was more work.
Yeah.
You worked in basically after all the territories died, you worked in, I would say at some point or other, almost every independent promotion in this area.
A big majority of them.
Big majority of them taking their
Then I had a
breaths.
lot that would use me in New Jersey and would fly me in to work up there because, there was more hardcore up there. And they'd fly me in to work out Dula, and Zandig, the guy from Combat, I worked him up there. God, talk about earning your money, brother. Jeez.
Moving furniture. What started New Dimension?
Actually, I think it was a rib. Ken Spence had IWA wrestling,
Oh, I remember him, yeah.
And he got, he wasn't running anything anymore but Thomasville, so Plano comes down here from Connecticut.
What was his first name?
Chris Plano.
Chris Plano, yeah.
He'd come down and was a manager. He would manage like opening matches and stuff, and the next thing I know, he's walking around with Spence in bars and stuff, and I'd see him in the bars, and Chris would give me a card and say, "New Dimension's coming." I said, "What's that?" He said, "A new dimension of wrestling."
So
I found out Ken Spence had sold him his promotion.
Wow.
And then he changed the name. I said, "Well, if you're going to change the name, why'd you buy a fucking promotion for?" That's stupid. He said, "Well, I got his towns." I said, "Well, anybody can get Thomasville if you call the Armory." Anybody can get that town.
Not one of them buyouts, huh?
Yeah, and so, well, I got his ring too. I said, "Okay, you got a $200 ring for $5,000." But he took it and ran with it, and he made it big. He got to a point we were running 20, 25 shows a month.
Yeah, you guys got the minor league ballparks and...
Yeah, we was running New York, we ran Idaho, Texas, and then
How long was it?
We'd run
Was it a couple of years?
We'd run 4 or 5 states in a week.
Would that last about 2-3 years?
Yeah, at least probably about 5, because I know that for several years I was begging him to kayfabe my 1099s. There was too much money on there.
What was the problem? What ended that? Was that just something that just finally just petered out?
Actually, me and him got into it over a few things, and he ended up firing me. And he hired Manny Fernandez as his booker.
Oh boy.
Well, I love Manny to death. He's a good friend, but you know, it didn't. It just fell off from there, and he started running his soul show. He had tons of soul shows to where he started running bars and parking lots, Walmart parking lots and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wondered why they were doing that.
And then he made up with me again, and I started booking again, and started doing a little better, and then he got mad again.
Was he, what was the problem there, an ego, or?
I believe it was part ego, and then he thought his wife was a little too friendly with me, or his girlfriend, and stuff like that.
That's a shame. Because actually, you remember meeting me in Charleston watching your show that night. And
yeah, we had tons of soul shows up there,
Totally,
we had a lot of
good talent.
Had a lot of soul shows where we would just have a 4-match show after the ball game. Then we had a couple standalones where we were the show. That was it.
You had a number of Billy matches with Abdullah, didn't you?
Yeah, Abdullah. And I had a good one with Manny up there, the first standalone in Charleston, and we drew thousands of people. Had Snuka on the show.
I was in Charleston, I think it was Toy Blanchard, Manny Fernandez, yourself. There was something else. I can't think. It was not a big, but that was.
Then some of the smaller towns like Salem and stuff, it would be Manny against Tully and me against Ricky Morton.
Ricky Morton was there that night in Charleston. Yeah. That's who I was trying to think of.
Your memories of Willie Clay.
Willie Clay.
That was kind of hooked up through me, wasn't it? Originally?
Yeah. Yeah, Dave was the guy who got me booked for Willie.
That started out with him using the same talent for so many weeks in a row, and I said, you need to bring in Rick Link, and you bring in Buzz Tyler.
No, I heard that guy was crazy. I was scared of him. And so you just told me one day, you said, you're booked Saturday, go show up. So I show up, and Willie said, what are you doing here? I said, Dave said you booked me. He said, well, no, I don't think so. And then when he said, I don't think so, I knew he did.
Yeah, right.
And he said, well, we'll do something. So he paid me full price just to go do a run-in and beat somebody up. And then after that, I worked every show he ran from then on.
You guys become really good friends.
Became really good friends, yeah.
And then, of course...
And never, people can say what they will about him. He never owed me one penny. He paid me well every time I worked, whether he drew or not.
I don't think he ever... he overpaid people at some point because he didn't understand everything at the time.
Yeah.
He got smarter on that. Plus, I want to tell you something. I don't think he would ever rip anybody off.
I believe he got smarter than he got with the program and kayfabe that pay. Then people would say they were getting bullshitted then. But
and for people who don't know that's watching this, he passed away, about a year ago, I guess?
About a year, I believe, yeah.
He had cancer really bad.
Cancer and his heart got bad on him, yeah.
And he had an unbelievable attitude towards life at that point. He did a really good job of trying to stay up, and
still ran several shows
and taped himself every day talking and stuff. I mean, he let everybody know how sick he was, but he was also informing people that you don't have to just curl up and die. You enjoy your life until it's
live till you die. Exactly.
And I thought he was a real credit to the independent booking because
he ran good shows.
He ran every week in Concord, and he
sold it out every week too.
And he had a ton of names through there during that time period that he did that.
I remember one time he finally got up the guts to have a feud with me. And so we out on the floor.
Yeah, I remember.
We out on the floor, and I'm gimmicking up. He lost his blade. He said, well, I'll let you do me if you don't hurt me. So I'm barely nicking him, and he's gushing like crazy because he's sweating like crazy, and he's nervous because his heart pounding. He's just a gushing, and I'm stabbing him with the fork. Next thing I know, he's shooting on my leg and throws me on the floor and likes to kill me. I said, what the fuck did you do that for? He said, look, his mama was standing there with a gun getting ready to shoot me. So, yeah, that feud got over real well.
Well, I remember, and we'll try to see if we can bring it up on tape, but there's a series of pictures where I got you over in one of those shows down there, and you had guys actually wanting to beat you up, where it chopped me so much and welded my chest. And I'm telling you the whole time, give me more, give me more, give me more, because we want to build up this beast in there, you know. And the idea was to bring.
Yeah, one guy wanted to fight me. He said, "What the fuck did you do that?" I said, "He fucking asked for it."
What was the name? The guy that passed away. Big guy, blonde hair.
I don't know. There was a lot of guys. I can't remember where it was at. Hickory or somewhere.
Yeah, it was. What was his name?
Smasher Stone?
No, he was a bodybuilder, more of a, he worked for South Atlantic.
Colt Steel.
Colt Steel.
Oh yeah, Colt was ready to whoop my ass, yeah.
So why'd you do that, man? I said, man, it was all, I mean, I called that. I'm the one that was telling him to do it. Why would you do that? And you can see there's welts everywhere, but the idea was to bring you back in and do a thing with Miles Tyler, but the promoter at the time didn't understand what the hell we were doing or however that went, but so I got my chest beat up for nothing. We can bring a photo of that up and get it on the camera when we will.
Yeah, I remember that picture.
It was about a year's took us. A friend of yours that came to the show was taking pictures.
Bill Prince.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He died several years ago.
He was a nice guy. I really liked him.
Mr. Early, Willie Clay ran every week in Concord. Do you think that could be done today? Not necessarily in Concord, but let's say you take a town. Do you think you could still have a draw with weekly wrestling?
I believe a certain town could be if it was run a certain way, more towards the old school way. People say old school's dead. No, it ain't. It's not dead.
It's just not being used.
It's just not being used, or it's not being used right.
I think he'd have to do it now in good populated.
I mean, you got to do it somewhere. I believe a town like Concord could be, because, you know, like Steve Taylor ran last year, a couple years ago. He ran every week for a couple of months, and he ran it once a month, and he was drawing average 100 people in there, but he wasn't using no names or nothing.
That was an armory or something,
It was like a American Legion hut or
yeah,
something
that's
like
it, American
that.
Legion, that's it, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not a big crowd, but I think what you're showing there's some interest. I think if you maybe had a name or two pop in the thing,
yeah, when you're using low-paid guys and stuff, and you get $1,000 house and then concession stand, you can make $400 or $500.
I can't imagine that you couldn't run Charlotte if you can get the word out, get decent TV.
Yeah.
That you couldn't draw 500 people.
I believe you draw anywhere if you fucking advertise. People like, you know, just like I tell people, I said Jesus could be in town tonight healing the sick at the square, but nobody's going to show up if they don't know he's in town.
Right. I mean, that's the big thing. Everybody thinks you advertise on Facebook.
Facebook, and that's it. That's ridiculous.
That's one of the biggest.
I mean, I still believe you got to have newspaper. Newspapers.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a newspaper, and you know, plus your opponents can't tear your newspaper down like they can your posters.
That's right.
And I believe in the big posters, not the little flyers like
Tribune show print type thing.
You know, that you can be riding down the street and see it flashing out the window, and you can see wrestling at the top.
Right.
But them little flyers with 35 pictures on them and names that big, you can't even read them standing up close and wear reading glasses.
Yeah,
most of them don't have names at all.
Yeah, no names at all. I mean, and they assume that people know who they are. I mean, I don't.
Well.
I mean, there was never a stopping of promoting a name when I was in the business. For some reason today, they saw me twice and they know who I am. You know?
I believe you could run a town and advertise the heck out of it and have a match like Ricky Morton against Barbarian and have them work real stiff and then do an angle where he's got a manager that burns them, or he goes out in ambulance on a stretcher. And we'll be back next Saturday and we'll let you know about Ricky, but Robert Gibson's just heard about this, and we've talked to him on the phone, and Robert will be here next week to get revenge against the Barbarian.
Sure.
You'll draw again.
Yeah, I think you would have to have the weekly story.
Something like that, yeah, and something that...
Do you watch any current TV on wrestling?
I try to, but I can't watch much of it. It's sickening to me.
What do you think's missing in wrestling now that would help it?
Wrestling?
Less talking?
It was turned on Raw the other night, and they talked for 20 minutes for a punch was thrown. That's stupid. You can't keep people 20 minutes on TV.
That's the biggest thing. When we go to shows, that's the biggest things the fans tell us.
Yeah.
Is why in the world do they have to tell us what's going to happen for the next 3 hours for the first 20 minutes?
And I know back in the day, you didn't grab that microphone and just say, I'm going to kick your ass tonight. If you wasn't told to say something on that mic, you better not talk on that mic. And now you work an independent show, everybody's on the mic. Everybody plays music.
Yeah.
Back when I was in Atlanta, the Freebirds were the only one who played music.
Right.
I'll tell you a funny story. We're talking about wrestling. I was showing my stepson, he's 9 years old, some world class. from 1983. Jose Lothario is working Michael Hayes. They lock up. They do a series of moves. Jose gets to shine. They kind of separate for a second. They lock up again. Michael Hayes gets to shine. They separate. They go to lock up again. And he goes, how come they keep restarting the match? I said, what do you mean they haven't restarted the match? He goes, well, you know that thing where you guys like grab each other? He goes, wrestlers only do that at the beginning of the match. They've done that now 3 times. How can they keep restarting the match?
Yeah.
And that is how far gone.
That's how far gone it is. You watch Harley Race defend the world title and you see him lock up 20 or 30 times.
Right.
During a 60 or 90-minute Broadway with Manny Fernandez.
And I think the thing of having 15 or 20 finish moves in the match.
And the guys today couldn't work 90 minutes doing a match like that.
They can't work twice.
They can't remember that much.
They can't work
You can only
twice
turn
the
so
same
many
night.
flips or say I'm going to kick your ass so many times on the mic.
We tape everything. Everybody works twice, and they'll have injuries every time.
Yeah.
I was out there 8 or 10 minutes already. The hell's that? I mean, nobody knows who you are. You want to get on TV as much as possible.
Yep.
Jesse Ventura said they don't leave themselves, wrestlers now don't leave themselves any margin of movement. He said if you jump off the top of the building, where can you go from there?
Yeah.
You're going to have to cut somebody's leg off, you're going to have to shoot him. So he said, how about instead of doing the head scissors moonsault springboard, you get the same reaction out of the drop kick.
Yeah.
And use the drop kick till nobody cheers anymore. Then maybe next time you might
Or
have
making a
something
little
to it.
comeback and give him a damn hip toss or veal throw and run into turnbuckles and give him a head scissors from there. And work that head scissors for a couple of minutes.
Is there anybody we haven't talked about that you'd like to say something about, or?
I'm sure there's somebody we left out I'd like to say fuck you to. Y'all didn't mention them, so I don't guess I will.
How about the hustler, Rip Rogers?
Oh, I love Rip Rogers.
We're having a blast with him as a host. As a matter of fact, he's the host right now, co-host with Adam and ICW. And
he's kind of like Boogie and all, and Barbarian and Kamala. You got to look at him when he hits you to know to sell. He's smooth as silk.
Do you think we're looking forward to possibly putting together an ICW reunion? What do you think of that?
Oh, that would be good.
I think
And
so.
actually, my first time ever working for ICW when Savage brought me in was teaming with Rip on Christmas.
That right?
On Christmas night, 81 or 2, I can't remember which, but it was at Johnson City, and we worked Weingroff and Jimmy Woods, I believe, something like that.
But what about your surgeries now? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, in the since June, I've had about probably 15 surgeries. I've had a couple cancer surgeries. I've had, of course, 10, 15 years ago, I've had several on my shoulder and all that from wrestling, and I've had, I had an infection here, had a big hole cut out, and then I've had several in here, putting access in for my dialysis, and then the nurses have blown them up a few times, and I've had to have
Your
them
kidneys just shut down on you, huh?
and kidneys just shut down. Actually,
Are you still doing dialysis now?
Yeah.
Did you have anything back then?
Actually, I got up one morning, I was going to go pick up a t-shirt order. I'd ordered some t-shirts to sell, at shows, and my leg was just burning so bad, I drove like halfway there, and I turned around, and I told my wife, I said, I gotta go to the hospital, my leg's killing me. Well, they put me in the hospital, and they said I had a MRSA infection here. They cut a big hole, that's that healed back, but I mean, that hole was that big and way down in there. So they did that, and then they found the cancer, and then they said I had kidney failure, skin cancer on my head, a MRSA infection, and I had another infection somewhere else they cut out of my body. And I was in there for 35 days in the hospital.
I know, that was, that had to be
I about lost my mind, really.
That's really one of the worst places in the world to get better.
Oh, it is.
It really is.
But luckily, my wife stayed there.
The picture you sent me of the back of your head, to me, was myself having 42 surgeries, 17 knee operations. I thought, boy, I feel bad, this, that, and the other, and I saw that, and I thought, my goodness.
Yeah, just when you see the skull showing there, too.
Yeah, I mean, they basically took out about the size of a softball, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can feel a good soft, probably a small cantaloupe now, because I've had it did twice and made it bigger. And he thought he'd got all the cancer out, and then after doing the test, they said there was still just a little bit in there, and that it was going to do another surgery. And he said, well, no, now it said it's healing better than he thought it was, so he's going to let it heal. and just try radiation. I said, well, yeah, I'd rather do radiation too than cutting up a big-ass hole.
Now, how depressing is that, hearing that after going through that?
Oh, it was real depressing when he said, oh, I didn't get it all.
Well, how long was that surgery, the one where they did the major cut on your
When they
shoulder?
did that, it was about 4 hours.
Yeah, see, I've had the 4 and 5 hours, and then for 2 or 3 days.
And I could tell, too, because when I woke up, I felt a lot worse than any other surgeries that was an hour or
two. It takes you
two.
2 or 3 days to get your stuff back together,
Yeah.
everybody is and where you're at and what's going on.
Yeah.
That's a rough thing. I mean, that's 12 surgeries in about a year's time then, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's taking a lot out on somebody. It's not like we're spring chickens anymore, but
And then 3 times a week, I got to go. 3 times a week, I got an access here. They cut an artery and a vein and tied them together to where they can, do the dialysis. So they.
How long does that take?
I sit on the machine 4.5 hours.
Now, somebody told me,
one
I'm not
hose
familiar with it, but somebody
one
told me
hose is pulling the blood out and puts it through a machine and cleans it, while the other hose puts it back in.
Now, does that weaken you while that's going on?
Oh yeah, like I got home yesterday, I had dialysis, and I fell asleep at 3, which I usually don't fall asleep, but if I've just been so damn tired with so many doctors shit and all that. I went to sleep at 3 yesterday, I woke up at 3 this morning, so I slept 12 solid hours.
Wow.
It was the most I'd slept in a year.
So
But
basically,
sooner or later, your body just shuts down and you got to get some sleep.
You got to catch up with you. And that's just a process, really a filtering process of cleaning your blood, basically, in your
And then plus
system,
And then plus, kidneys not working right. Then plus they can take fluid out too that you're not able to piss out.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me that they can do that.
And that's possibly the rest of your life, correct?
Yeah. Unless they get a kidney transplant.
What would you rather do on that?
Well, it'd be nice not to have to do it, but like my sister wants to be tested to see if she can give me a kidney. She wants to do it now. I said, well, look, I've had 15.
You need a break.
I've had 15 surgeries in a year. When I get rid of all this stuff, I'd like to go for a few months without any doctors, any damn thing. To get back to myself more. Then I, might
and of course,
think
you're
about
turning
it.
your arm up every 3 times a week too. So I mean that.
Yeah, and then plus the nurse don't know what she's doing and. Fucking goes all the way through, and then they turn the machine on and blows my damn artery. I had to go have a surgery last week to fix that. They had to go in there with a balloon and fix it from the nurse fucking it up.
Yeah, I've had those needle searchers for veins, and you're just like, get somebody else before I kill this person.
Yeah.
For someone that's been going through all this, you seem in pretty high spirits. What do you credit that to?
Well, obviously my faith in God. I don't believe God's going to let me die till He wants me to die, not when the devil wants me to die. The devil tried to kill me last year and he did a job. So I'm not going to take it home till God wants me to die. So I'm happy with that. And, I'm alive and as well as I can be. I believe I can still get in the ring and go 10 minutes.
Well, you seem like you're happy too with your wife and everything.
Yeah.
And you got a nice place here and everything. I mean, you seem like you're more relaxed maybe than I've ever seen you in a lot of ways. Not that you're ever, hyper or anything like that, but you just seem like you're happy.
No, I won't whoop somebody's ass is what,
Yeah, that's
what you're trying to say. Shoot on somebody.
I've had him ride in the car with me for 3 or 4 hours talking about the guy in the back seat's going to get stretched here when he gets out of Royal tonight, Mitch Pruitt.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I had to tell you to slow the fuck down. Well, I forgot to tell you, I've had 5 fucking car wrecks in 3 years. And you're going to fucking 100 now, next thing I know, about to go off the fucking mountain in Charleston. I said, any buses going to Lexington tonight?
Anything you want to tell your fans?
Oh, I love my fans. You'd be surprised how many people message me and tell me, how much they thank me for all I've done for the business and all they remember from when I was a kid in IWA days to Memphis to New Zealand. I got friends from New Zealand that, just everywhere. And, I love all my fans. Even the ones that hate me, I love them because they still paid to see me get my ass whipped.
If you could redo your career all over again, would you change anything?
That's a hard one. I'm sure I would make a few different decisions, but overall, I probably wouldn't change nothing. Probably make a few decisions, and one of those decisions was probably like when you're 24 years old, 23 years old, working big-time wrestlers, making $1,000 a week. You don't think about when you're going to be 50, and you piss all that money away. So that's one thing I would change is saving all that money I made.
Was there ever a situation or an opportunity you wish you would have gotten? Or had a chance at and it didn't happen? Like, say, going to WCW or WWE or anything like that?
Actually, I was booked in both places. I was booked in WWF. Austin Idol got me booked there through Vince Sr. And before I finished up, finishing up in Memphis, and then I said, well, I'm gonna honor my bookings in Kansas City.
Vince Sr. would have liked you.
Yeah, he liked, because he told Idol he liked big guys, and he had me booked. So when it's time for me to go, I called. Well, Vince Sr. wasn't there, so I guess I believe I talked to Vince. I don't know. He says, "Well, I'm the owner now," and he said, "So anybody my dad booked in here or Vince, Mr. McMahon booked in here, is no longer booked." So that, and then Stan Hansen got me booked in Japan, and before I could go, that's when I hurt my neck. Those are the main ones. That there, Japan being the worst. Couldn't fulfill those bookings after Stan got me booked.
You never did get to do a tour of Japan?
No.
Well, that might have been a whole different...
Yeah.
Because they would have loved you over there, too.
Mm-hmm.
They've been afraid of you.
Yeah, because I got to work Brody a lot in Kansas City.
What was he like?
Actually, me and Brody became friends in Atlanta when I was jobbing on TV. He would come and sit by me, and he would always talk about his kid.
He was very friendly to me, always.
Give me a can of tuna. He said, "Here, eat a can of tuna." And he would always, "Stick with it. You'll make it someday. You got to look." And he'd always told me that. And when first time I was in Kansas City, when he was on the show, I was working him.
Yeah.
And I said, "I hope he remembers me." And I walked over to him and I said, "You remember me?" He said,
"Well,
He pointed at me. He said, "Atlanta, Georgia." Atlanta, Georgia.
The thing is, guys like the Sheik, Abdul the Butcher, and Brody, even knowing them and shaking hands with them, is still pretty scary dudes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember the first time I met the Sheik. I mean, it was the real Sheik, Ernie Farhat.
Yeah.
It was almost like a glow around him. I mean, I was marking out big time. That was the night I did the run-in with him and got color for him. It's like there was like a glow around him.
He was one of a kind, and he carried the gimmick so hard that even his grandkids would answer the phone, Grandpa Sheik.
Yep.
Never call him that. You might get your tongue cut out.
Yep.
You remember that? Cut your tongue out.
Oh yeah, when I went over and met him before we went to the damn ring, because back in those days too, like you couldn't talk over a match because dressing rooms were separate.
Yeah.
You didn't even see the guy you was working. People say, "Oh, y'all practicing that shit." You practice shit. It was using over here, and then the other dressing rooms, just like Nashville.
Right.
Across, you didn't see nobody.
300 feet apart.
Yeah.
A whole football field in between you.
In Memphis, they had 8 or 10 back there, and several private ones.
The only guy we forgot that you brought him up, but I didn't ask you your first thoughts. Manny Fernandez.
Manny Fernandez.
We can add it back in.
I love Manny Fernandez. Actually, when I first met him, we didn't get along. First time I met him.
I can't imagine.
First time I met him was a Crockett TV taping. And luckily I was late. And it's a good thing I was, because I saw the sheet that said first hour, first match, Manny Fernandez versus Rick Link. And so I was late, and then I passed him going down the hall, and I said, "How you doing?" He just looked at me and snarled. He wouldn't even speak to me. And then one night somehow, after a show, we happened to be at the same bar. Best friends ever since. And in between a few breakups and brawls and a couple of fights here and there, but yeah, he's a great guy.
Well, he doesn't hide the fact of where he's coming from.
Oh no, you know what you get with him. But I'll tell you one thing, how good a friend he is. I called him one morning when my dad died several years ago, about 8 years ago, and he was halfway to New Jersey. He turned around and came back to be with me at the funeral home while I was making arrangements.
Is that right?
You better, and ain't many people would do that. And that's one. And then plus two, a good 7, 8 years when he was living in California, he drove in every year for my birthday. Every year he would drive from California to my home in North Carolina for my birthday.
That's taking a lot of you. That's a lot of work right there. I mean, that's 1,500 miles or whatever, to 2,000 miles.
And he pulled all that off with no damn driver's license.
Best driver on the road.
Yep.
I got one more question for you and we're done. Who was your favorite promoter to work for?
Favorite promoter? I'd have to say Jerry Jarrett. Because I made the most money there.
Would you consider that the thing that you're probably most known for? Because you got to be a part of the Kaufman Angle, the Raw
Well,
Chicken.
yeah, because being with the Kaufman Angle, my name was in. I was in People magazine. I was in the Rolling Stone newspaper, and one other one because of the USA. It was one of them other weekly magazines that was talking about Man Mountain League. Andy Kaufman was trying to put Law Rider Wrestling this week in Memphis. And then plus I got a lot of after stuff, feuding with Lawler and Idol too.
Link is down on the floor. The big Moondog grabs a hold of a chair, throws it into the ring, but Dutch Mantell has that. Moondog with another chair in the ring. Oh my goodness. Dutch caught him with that chair. Boy, oh boy, let's just sit back and enjoy the Moondog taking a pounding. But he's turned the tables on Dutch. Lawler sends one of the Moondogs into the steel post. Idol still has that cane. Idol working with that stick on top of the head of Man Mountain Link. Lawler caught one there. The other half of the cane the Moondog has. Here's Idol. Hurled out of the ring. Hart's all after him. Has that rope. Jimmy Hart choking Idol. Idol's partner Mantell and Lawler both down. Idol really being choked. Hart's calling for some help. He doesn't like one-on-one. The big Moondog, watch it. With that table. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness the first row cleared out. Watch it. Using that table. Have to watch out. This is off. Explosive. See the falls counted anywhere. They're all over the floor. The referee brought the bell back the Moondog stole. Looks like about everybody's bleeding. There goes the table. Moondog sends Lawler into it. They broke it. Never in my life have I seen such absolutely brawling. Dutch sitting right on top of the table. Dutch about to land on the people in the front row. Watch it, Dutch. Link right on top of him. Oh my goodness. Lawler's taking a pounding, but we know the King just takes so much. But with that kind of punishment, what can you do? We're caught up with our microphone. This action in the ring continues. There goes the fire! Lawler came up. We were watching closely. Lawler throws the fire on Lincoln's stomach. The referee stops the match, and he says he can't control it. I don't blame you, Jerry. Hey, oh my goodness. Lawler, when he comes out with that fire, look at this action. Mantell with a backdrop. Hard carrying Link out. Oh my goodness, that'll be a good one.
So while I brought up Central States, because that's just in the order of my notes, I don't want to lose it. What are your memories of going to Central States and working out there?
The first time I went, Buck Robley brought me in. He was a booker. I went in the wintertime. Guy, I'd never known cold weather till I went out there. It was horrible. I remember one day it snowed 13 inches overnight. And so I called Geigle at the office and I said, the show's canceled tonight. He said, canceled? Hell, it's sold out. It took me 3 hours to drive 13 miles to the
And of course, growing up in North Carolina, you wasn't used to that anyway. So.
Oh, hell no. 3 inches would shut down things.
3 inches, there wouldn't be, you couldn't buy a loaf of bread here anywhere.
No.
What are your opinions on Buck Robley as a booker?
I thought he was a genius. I thought he was a great guy. He had a few demons like all of us did every once in a while.
A little bit of a free spirit?
Yeah, oh yeah.
A bit of a rebel?
I remember one time, we was in St. Louis at the Kill Auditorium, and Buck showed up, had on a three-piece suit, carrying his briefcase, and was barefooted. Bob Geigel said, "Where's your fucking shoes at?" He said, "Somewhere between Kansas City and here, I don't know." But he'd get out there and write everything out and get it going.
It was often noted from some people that Buck Robley wasn't necessarily someone that all those promoters trusted as an individual,
Yeah.
but he was somebody, if your houses were down, you knew you could
bring
bring
him-
Buck, and
you
he was
bring
going to
him
come
in.
up with something that was really going to pop your territory.
Because you know, when you brought Buck in, you was also getting Bruiser Brody, you was getting Kamala and guys like that.
Yeah.
So people would use him when that house was down.
Yeah, he always had Brody with him.
Yeah.
Either coming in or shortly after.
And going to he'd take Brody with him.
Did Buck take a liking to you because of your style of work?
Well, actually, he was a
your
booker.
size?
Yeah, he liked the big guys, but he was a booker one of the times in Atlanta when I was doing the TV. When I did TV down there, Buck was a booker once, George Scott, Ronnie West, so I got to meet so many different guys, and then Buck knew me from there, and so he gave me a shot out there.
Was that your favorite place to work as far as NWA offices?
As far as NWA, probably.
And how long was you there at a time, the stretch?
About 3 or 4 months a shot.
That's pretty good. Once again, you got to have that kind of talent to do that. Because
And then the second time I went in,
last nowhere near that long.
came back in 6 months later, in the summertime, Len Denton was the booker and brought me in.
How was he as a booker?
I thought he did good. Actually, our checks when Len booked was a couple $100 more a week than when I was there before. So it was drawing a lot better. And he would bring in, he brought in Wahoo a lot, guys like that, Jerry Blackwell.
No, the thing you got to say about him is he spent years, him and Buddy Rose and guys spent years in Portland in them tiny little towns that they ran weekly.
Yeah.
And survived.
And learned all them angles
They
and
survived.
what to do.
And that was, that's like them in Memphis. You got to give them credit. They survived a lot of other offices closed in the meantime.
Yeah.
So when you met Lars in New Zealand, how long was it after that he called you to come to Hawaii?
It was all at the same time.
Oh, that you just kind of followed through that?
Yeah.
Now, there was another guy you were there in New Zealand that became pretty famous too.
Barry Darso.
Yeah, he was a Mongol there.
He was a Mongol with another guy.
You know, we've got a lot of footage we're going to show in between this interview of you over there and this thing with Lars and I Don't Fight Farmers. And
Yeah.
that was a little bit different role for you, wasn't it? I mean,
Oh yeah,
going
it
in there
was.
as a baby face and
Actually, when I first got there, I was heel teaming with Lars, and we was working Steve and Mark Lewin. And Lars was hurting so many other guys, and then he broke this guy's leg on a house show that pissed him off, some local guy. And so then that's when they turned me baby and had me working Lars. So I got to work
Lars
with
could be a
those
bit of a bully at times, couldn't he?
Oh yeah.
mean,
Well, back in them days, coming up in the 70s, 80s, all of us could be bullies if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I had a little reputation for getting paid to hurt guys too.
You're kidding me. I didn't know that.
How close did New Zealand and Hawaii work together? I mean, people don't realize how far that is apart.
Yeah.
They're basically out there on an island, I mean, literally and figuratively by themselves, and they're pretty far away from the rest of the United States when it comes to getting talent. So did they trade talent a lot back and forth?
Yeah, and plus Hawaii, they would use guys from Japan going to and fro Japan too.
Well, they had a deal there really that was, they had to fly people, but they could also get guys for less because of where it was.
Yeah.
Somebody'd say,
Holiday.
you know, I'd say,
Yeah,
I'm going to
vacation
get
out of it.
$250 a night, I'll take 150, you pay for the room and give me
Yep.
3 weeks in Hawaii, you know, who the hell wouldn't have done that? I mean, that
Yep.
was, you know, and they drew good houses too. I mean, they did
Yeah.
well out there.
And then while we was working Hawaii and New Zealand, we also worked Tonga and both Samoas too.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
How was the travel?
It was hard from here to LA 6 hours, and then LA to Honolulu was 6. There's 11 hours from here to Honolulu. Honolulu to Samoa was 6 hours, I believe.
Wow.
And then from Samoa to Tonga was 3 or 4 more hours, and then
So you're basically losing 2 days there.
yeah, it'd be weird to get on a plane and leave to go to New Zealand in Samoa on Tuesday, and then you'd land at Monday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that would be weird. So what about the towns in between the shows? Were they relatively, was the travel decent that way?
Oh God, they flew us to, well, you know, New Zealand's 2 islands, so they naturally had to
Right.
fly us to the second island. But on the when you just work towns on the same island, it was road trips, and some of them would be 6, 7 hours long.
Oh wow.
driving on the right side of the car, on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, that would be
So
confusing.
Mid-South has nothing on working New Zealand. People
No.
complain about Mid-South, but
No.
this sounds way worse.
I'd take those eight hours driving those interstates in New Zealand. It was horrible.
Now,
Actually, I'd work the guys and I'd run off the road, and hit a scrape a phone pole and say, man, I can't drive this shit, man. So they said, well, let me drive then.
When you would go over to Samoa and spend your time in Tonga and those different, how many days would you run a week there and then come back, or would that just be for a couple of shows?
We'd work 2 shows there and stay 3 or 4 days.
House is pretty good because they don't have much live entertainment and small little.
Yeah, they'd run a little stadium like theater kind of like thing. It'd be, I don't know, 400 or 500 people there, but they were charging. But then one thing too, they was talking about they was afraid they was charging too much money, and that might have hurt them a little. But the Tonga drew real big. It was huge the first show we did.
Now, did you go back there, or was that your only trip to there?
I worked them all twice. Went there twice.
So, with Steve, he basically ran the deal there in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, he paid everybody, and him and.
He's the one. I guess he bought Barnett out, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
So did he really control? It would almost have to take someone that was from there and had lived there their whole life. And you're talking about you leave on Tuesday and you come over to Tonga, it's Monday at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that has to be unbelievably hard to book your shows.
Yeah.
When you're going through all those different time zones and hundreds of miles and flying guys.
And handling all them visas and stuff, he had to be pretty much over with all those things to get that done in all them countries.
Talking back to Central States, you work with some real legends there, Harley Race, Rufus R. Jones, Bob Brown. You told me a story one time about a road trip where Harley Race was asleep at the wheel. And you woke him up and he says, damn, it was a straight highway. I could have slept for another 40 minutes.
Why'd you wake me up before I sleep better when I'm fucking asleep?
Was there any other story stands out in your mind?
And plus he's going 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're just a little worried in the back seat and the guy falls asleep. Was there any other stories on Harley Race you had?
He was always just...
Did you ever get in the ring with him? Did you ever have a match with him?
Never had an actual match. Got in about a roll and got a few of his ribs and chops and stuff.
What about Rufus?
Oh, yeah.
Now that was a guy to me.
That was like working Valiant. You felt sorry for getting paid because it was so easy.
Now, you guys also brought him into North Carolina, I remember. Him and Ox, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, brought him and Ox in, and shoot, we drew probably damn near 1,000 people in Asheboro.
I remember you guys...
had Luthez on top defending his world title, and had Ox and Rufus, and Johnny had his 30 students on the first 12 matches.
You guys had Luthez too? I didn't know.
Yeah, Johnny used Luthez all the time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What was he charging then? Do you remember?
$100.
Is that right?
That's what he charged Johnny anyway. It was $100.
And that's something. Well, he probably used him a lot then that way.
Yeah.
What about when you guys were out there in Central States? I know that's probably the only place Ox Baker was ever a face, but I remember he had a little bit of a feud with you. What was that like?
Oh, it's always easy working Ox.
Nobody's going to fall down too often, were they?
Oh, no.
Not until somebody's counting.
Well, not unless it's a 3 count. And actually, one of our matches is on YouTube. I don't believe either one of us took a bump till the finish when he gave me the heart punch.
Yeah, that's that one that was on regular TV, I think.
Yeah, it was on the TV show, yeah.
What's the biggest difference working for Johnny Hunter, and now all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, you're working in New Zealand, you're working in Australia, you're working in all these different places. Was there a difference in talent?
Yeah, difference in talent, but actually the way you worked and everything, no different at all. And actually probably the dressing rooms of Johnny Hunter was a little more serious than the NWA locker rooms. There was more clowning around and guys having fun.
I believe that.
So what are your memories of going to Memphis?
Going to Memphis. I got back from New Zealand, and I stayed home a couple of weeks just to recoup from everything. And I told my wife then, I said, well, I need to call some of these promoters. She said, well, who you gonna call? I said, well, we're gonna call Kansas City. She said, no, call Memphis, that's closer. So I called Lawler. I called Lawler on a Tuesday, and I just, you know, what the hell, you know. And he said, first thing he said, yeah, I got your package the other day, it looks good. He said, when do you want to come in? I'm like, what about next week? He said, what about this week? And I'm like, yeah, okay. He said, be at Memphis TV Saturday.
You remember what the week's pay would be like for there?
I believe the first week was about $1,000.
Yeah, that's great money.
For 1983, and you're 24 years old, you better believe it.
You went in there as the Beastmaster, right?
Man Mountain Lake.
You went as Man Mountain Lake first. Did he come up with that name, or?
No, Mark Lewin named me that in New Zealand.
So they just went with that as well?
Yeah.
Now, you had Jimmy Hart as your manager. What was that like?
Oh, Jimmy was something else.
Did you guys travel together?
Sometimes. On the long shows, we'd have 2 or 3 days somewhere.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever say anything bad about him.
It's kind of like Bobby Eaton. If somebody says something bad about Jimmy, they tell him a lie.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Bobby Eaton's the nicest guy in this business.
You better believe he is. He was out there too when I went.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was probably with Coco Ware at that time, wasn't he?
No, Coco was baby as Stagger Lee. He had lost to
they
Lee
just
Town
turned it
and
then,
did that. And then Bobby was working heel by himself with Jimmy and the First Family with us, and he was feuding with Mad Dog, and they were doing the Loser Eats Dog Food matches.
I'm trying to think the guy from Central States he tagged with right after that. What was his name? White guy.
Who, Bobby?
Yeah. Oh, goodness. The one where he bled too much in that one match and they had to... Never mind. I mean, it'll come to me eventually.
Was Memphis, obviously Monday carried you through the week as far as your pay. Did you get paid at the end of the week with a check, or did you get paid each night?
We got paid each Monday.
So you got paid each Monday?
At the Coliseum.
So at the call, so?
And they would cash your check for you if you wanted them to. But I got to the point I was so good, hell, I'd have a couple checks. I didn't even have to get them cashed, I just carried them with me. Cashed them when I went home.
The money was that good at that time? Kaufman was in there around the same time that you were there, so that was really starting to pick up and really be.
And I did a little thing with him too. Me and him worked Lawler for a week.
And you got into some pretty interesting six-mans there with some big names.
Yeah, we did the explosive matches, Falls County, and we're in the Coliseum. Me and Moondogs against Lawler, Idol, and Dutch.
Yeah, that was some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to be putting all that in on the clips as well. And I know maybe some stuff you haven't seen because we just recently got some other footage from some different people. But the one thing that sticks out in my mind about down there is for us, when you defeated Lawler, like I told you before a couple times, I was in my second year, and there was a bunch of us that had followed. You know, everybody back then followed everybody in the magazine. And we seen Rick Link was with Johnny Hunter, now he's in New Zealand.
Even Savage did that. He told me he looked and everywhere know who was what and who was doing what.
And he said, you know, we're all looking, and I said, Rick Link beat Jerry Lawler. Man, we've all got hope. Because it isn't just who you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the talent.
Yeah.
And that was really amazing to us because, you know, we all figured, you know, there was a clique there and that kind of thing. And they did have that same, a lot of times that seven, 8 guys, a lot of them was the same and everything.
Yeah.
So when that happened, it was almost like, well, hell, any of us could do this if we had the right break. You know?
Well, I know when I got to TV that Saturday, they got me back in Lawler's office, and he had the picture of me eating the raw chicken, which I just made up, you know, and had used food coloring, I believe, running on me, and just taking pictures. And he says, you think you could eat one of those live on TV? I said, live chicken? He said, no, dead chicken. I said, well, yeah, I'll try it.
Great.
I said, yeah, I'll try it. And so, and that's why Jimmy hated having to manage me on those road trips, because he had to go buy the, Lawler designated him to go to the grocery store and buy the raw chicken every night.
How much did that bother you? I mean, it didn't bother you at all?
It didn't bother me. Jimmy having to pick them up, but
no, I mean,
I figured out a way how to work the gimmick. You know, you pull the chicken open, and just got his ass pulled open there, and you bite it, chew it, and let people see it. And then you go to take another bite, and when I go to take another bite, I'd spit it in his ass, and then take another bite, looked like I swallowed it. Of course, I did accidentally swallow a few pieces when I sold it up.
That's what I'm saying. Wasn't that hard to do?
And sometimes it just fell down and went right down my throat.
Oh, God.
Going back on Andy Kaufman, they had so much heat with that, and Kaufman was always known for being so in character all the time.
Yeah.
Did you guys know they were buddies, or did they keep the heat Because Coffin wasn't really like the
I
work.
knew it was a work because naturally I was in the matches and knew the finishes, so I knew there was a finish, so I knew it was a work. But
what about the rest of the
boys? But when
boys?
they first started, when he did the pile drivers and he stayed in the hospital for 3 or 4 days selling his neck and getting MRIs and stuff, everybody thought it was a shoot.
Okay, fans, very unusual version of a battle royal. One you'll never see again. Maybe in the history of wrestling, this is the only time that this has ever happened. You'll see mixed gender battle royals, but not very often do you see midgets in the battle royal with all the wrestlers. There's Little Ninja up on Calypso Jim's shoulders to start the match. We got a slew of guys in there. Mitch Pruitt jumps on top of the Little Ninja trying to pull him down. Doesn't work. The Black Scorpions working down here on Chris Hamrick. Hamrick fires back with a shot of his own. Lil Moses battery ramming Ninja. Lil Ninja flips over top of Lil Moses and goes for what appeared to be a sunset flip. They're battering one out here in the corner. Lord Zoltan's in there choking Rock Parsons. The Beastmaster's in there. Boy, he's one tough customer. Ron Cumberledge in the far corner bashing Scott Summers' head off the turnbuckle. The Terrorist is in there. They're all in there, fans. The top stars of the IWWA at this time. Mitch Pruitt trying to hit the Beastmaster. It only took one big forearm blow, and down goes Pruitt. Parsons goes down into the corner. Fans, what most of you won't realize is that the Battle Royal is one of the most dangerous matches of all time. Sure, it doesn't involve any weapons, but it's hard to account for where everyone is in the ring all at the same time. Parsons with a nice right hand into the side of the head of Lord Zoltan. Zoltan stepping on top of the Little Ninja along with Mighty Moses. Black Scorpion and the Terrorist working down here on Chris Hamrick. Parsons is put into the corner here by Zoltan. Zoltan with 2 big kicks, 3 big kicks, and a 4th big kick. Zoltan going back over now towards Calypso Jim. Mitch Pruitt coming back over towards Parsons. Little Ninja kind of stumbling around here. He better find somewhere to go. It's not very often he has to wrestle a regular-sized human being. He tries to give an overhand forearm blow in the Rock Parsons. Doesn't do much damage. Oh, the Beastmaster with an overhand chop into the back of Rock Parsons. Typically you don't see a chop to the back. And then he gave him a big old brain chop, a tomahawk chop, I guess you could say, to Rock Parsons. Pruitt choking Hamrick in the corner. Power driver by Lord Zoltan onto the Little Ninja. Zoltan choking Pruitt and gives him a thumb in the throat. Little Moses trying to bite the back leg here of Rock Parsons. Rock Parsons with a big right hand into Mighty Moses. There's just all kinds of action happening here in this battle royal to cap off this action-packed show. The Terrorist with a right hand into Chris Hamrick. Hamrick reverses it, right hand of his own, another big right hand, and a third onto the Terrorist. Oh, Mighty Moses with a big battering ram into the Terrorist. Ron Cumberledge with a big knee into the face of the terrorist. Looks like Mitch Pruitt's been eliminated. Looks like the Black Scorpion's been eliminated. Looks like the terrorist just got thrown over by Ron Cumberledge. Quickly, the numbers are fading here inside this Battle Royal. Calypso Jim with a big right hand into the Beastmaster. Black Scorpion out there arguing with the referee. We all know what kind of problems the referee had with the Black Scorpion earlier. Mighty Moses hanging on to the bottom. But he slides back in here. Chris Hamrick getting hauled by Lord Zoltan. Here comes Moses, but oh, Hamrick moves. And Moses catches Zoltan right in the midsection. Big right hand from Calypso. Turnbuckle smash by Calypso Jim. Zoltan now choking Calypso, reverses it and puts him into the corner. Oh, looked like a throat thrust. And now another choke here onto Calypso Jim. Poke in the eyes by Calypso Jim onto Lord Zoltan. Mighty Moses with a big slap onto the Little Ninja. Chris Hamrick going up top for 10 big punches on the Summers. Loses his footing, but still completes it. Rock Parsons taking a rest here, trying to regain some energy, and he connects with a gigantic right hand in towards Zoltan. Zoltan, like a ping pong ball, getting bounced around. The three winners of the six-man tag. Down goes Zoltan. The Beastmaster's still in there. He just got through a brutal battle with Wahoo McDaniel. Calypso Jim with a big kick. Looks like Zoltan's here outmatched 3-on-1. They shoot Zoltan across. Now Parsons shoots Hamrick across, and Hamrick catches Zoltan with a big splash. Cumberledge and Summers battling out over there on the ropes. They had a great single match earlier. Everything concludes here tonight with this big battle royal. A mixed battle royal, if you will. Now Parsons whips Hamrick again, but Zoltan moves, and down goes Hamrick. Mighty Moses getting his shots in. Little Ninja getting his shots in. Ron Cumberledge with a knee lift into the midsection of Scott Summers. Now is a time of attrition. All these guys have already wrestled once in the card, coming back out here for a big battle royal. And there's some money on the line here in this battle royal. Uh-oh. Zoltan has Mighty Moses' legs, and a big splash by the Beastmaster. Moses jumps on top of the Beastmaster. Zoltan jumps on top of him. Hamrick on top of him. Calypso Jim. Fans, it is a dog pile, and I feel bad for the Little Ninja. There can't be much left of him but a wet spot in the middle of the ring. That is a lot of weight to go on top of someone the size of the Little Ninja. Summers could have easily thrown out the Little Ninja. Calypso Jim cuts him off. The Mighty Moses looks like he may be trying to put Little Ninja away. A leg drop onto the Little Ninja. Hamrick with a nice right hand that just drove Lord Zoltan down into the mat. Beastmaster looks like he's calling for Zoltan here. They pick him up. They're putting him clear over the top. Ninja holding on for dear life here. Holding on. Oh, and a big right hand from the Beastmaster. Moses throws out Zoltan. And the first time in professional wrestling history, a midget wrestler has thrown out another wrestler inside of a battle royal. Cumberledge, clothesline Summers, and they both end up going out. We're down to 4. It's Rock Parsons, Calypso Jim, Chris Hamrick. Well, goodbye, Chris Hamrick. He went clear out the third row, I think, fans. I saw some nachos and Coke go up into the air. The Beastmaster put him clear into the next city. Camera going out here to ringside, see what's going on. Zoltan is out here just, a fan trying to get involved here. Has a hold of the Little Ninja. Zoltan pushing the fan away. Zoltan hitting him again. Zoltan somewhat trying to justify what he's done here to the little ninja. Camera going now back into the ring. Calypso Jim and Rock Parsons here, a tag team in cahoots against the Beastmaster. Beastmaster weighing in here at over 400 pounds. Parsons and Calypso Jim combined are 500 pounds. So that just goes to show you how big the Beastmaster is. But they're really wearing on him. He just got through a tough battle with Wahoo McDaniels. So it may be prime time here for both of them to be able to wear down the Beastmaster. Calypso Jim doing a nerve hold onto him, shoots the Beastmaster off the ropes, but he comes back with a big double clothesline and knocks both men down. Looks like he might have caught Parsons in the teeth. Rick Link throws Rock Parsons out, and it's down to the Beastmaster, Rick Link, and Calypso Jim. Of course, the Beastmaster, the man who knocked off Jerry the King Lawler in 1983 for the Southern Heavyweight title. He knows how to win in big-time situations. He's in a big-time situation right here to win this Battle Royal, to regain some stamina, to reclaim himself after his tough battle with Wahoo McDaniel. He's getting himself psyched up. Fans getting into it. Collar elbow tie-up. Look like two bulls here, testing their strength against one another. Calypso Jim, couple big right hands and a left hand. Quick jab. Tomahawk chop again from Rick Link. The Beastmaster, Rick Link with a big clothesline, and out goes Calypso Jim. Your winner of this awesome, awesome, awesome Battle Royal is the Beastmaster, Rick Link. Fans, we hope you've enjoyed this show. Please keep watching Jarrett Parsons Wrestling TV and go to jarrettparsonswrestling.com for great wrestling DVDs. For Adam Parsons, so long.
Came to see not one soul has left this building after a whole lot of wrestling here this evening in Thomasville. And the Dirty White Boy's in the ring. It looks like he has brought a steel garbage can into the ring as well. Look, oh gosh, no. It looks like he's got a can of alcohol there. Yeah, and now the Beastmaster Rick Link, the current World's Brass Knuckles champion, making his way to the ring, a man that is no stranger to this sport. He has been around the world, has wrestled in all parts of the country. His biggest claim to fame was his stake out in the Memphis, Tennessee area with Jerry Lawler in the early 80s, and has fought them from Abdul the Butcher to Manny Fernandez, the one-man gang, and all guys in between. Takes on all comers. The Dirty White Boy gets a hold of him tonight, and possibly that World's Brass Knuckles championship.
Many of you may remember him from his Memphis tenure. I mean, Jerry Lawler is actually being Man Mountain Link, but no matter by any name, the Beastmaster is one brutal, hardcore, violent wrestler.
I'm going to tell you one thing about this match, Grant Sir. I know you're a maniac. If you're a maniac, these guys must be insane, because I have been told by some representatives in the back that there are nearly 2,000 to 3,000 thumbtacks placed in plastic bags inside that ring. The wrestlers can use them at any time. Now, this is the key to this match. There cannot be a pinfall, so there are thumbtacks in the ring. You just cannot go for a pinfall. Those thumbtacks need to be used. The fans are going to see what they want to see. We told them to back up 3 rows deep, because this one's going to go all over the building, I have a feeling.
Oh, it would not surprise me in the least. And you know, when Rick Link is in the ring, he's not usually looking for a pinfall anyway until someone is busted wide open.
Security all around the ringside area as NDW bringing in extra security here tonight. Grant Sawyer, look at all the media on hand, local newspapers at ringside taking pictures. This is what it's like when New Dimension Wrestling comes to town. It's more than a wrestling show, it's a spectacle.
Oh, it is truly an event of its own, and any local newspaper that had word of the show tonight is definitely going to be out there, because when you get a thumbtack match in the ring, you know how dangerous it can be, and I hate to say someone's life could be in jeopardy, but it is that dangerous.
Well, Grant Star, I've been told that there is representatives here from the Thomasville Hospital, that there is a waiting ambulance in the back with stretchers that the company is prepared to stretcher both of these gentlemen out of here this evening. And when you have measures like that being taken, you know it's going to be a brawl. Look out, Ralph Harkey running for higher ground, and whoa, a table just broke there right in front of the New Dimension Wrestling logo, and this one is quickly gone to the outside less than a minute into this match.
I'm not surprised at all. Link yanking back that guardrail. Security guard Big Tony trying to get the fans back.
Now Link just is pulling the face apart. Wow, that'll rearrange your face real fast. And oh no, oh, that steel door looming right in front of both of these hombres. And Link, whoa, goes nailing and crashing. Look, he nailed his forearm and his head into that steel door. And there is no give to that door. That is pure steel they are running into.
Oh, I know there are so many. Oh, Link is busted wide open.
Link bleeding profusely from the forehead area. And now a cheer. Whoa! Steel just hit steel there. And Grant, sorry, this one is out of control. We need security over by these wrestlers. Fans are backed up. Rick Link is already a bloody mess. And Dirty White Boy opening that gash up more on Link's forehead by throwing him back into that steel door.
Oh, Link is quickly becoming a bloody mess, a crimson mask, if you will, and trying to keep fans back. Even the Beastmaster's own website is here trying to get close-up photos of this one to put on the webpage.
Well, let me tell you something, Grant Sawyer. If you've never ever seen a World's Brass Knuckles title match, there are no rules, there are no countouts, there are no disqualifications. There must be a winner here this evening, and there is going to be a winner here this evening. Referee Joe Meserve, his job only is to count 1, 2, 3, and oh my gosh, I think they just cleared out 4 to 5 rows of the ringside area. If fans want a chair, guess what? It's gone. It's not there anymore, courtesy of the Dirty White Boy and Rick Link. I have not seen Rick Link this aggressive in the ring in any one match. Oh my gosh, no, he's got a steel pan. Oh no. Oh! He just bent that cookie sheet 6 inches, and now a shot. That was a blatant closed fist, but there are no rules. I have not seen Rick Link this aggressive since his brutal battles with Abdul the Butcher several months back. And now Link just pounding on the forehead of the Dirty White Boy. And the Dirty White Boy, oh, they're coming over to our table over here. Grant, I'm getting out of here for higher ground.
All right, Chris. I'll be with you in a second. If they get any closer, let me tell you. Well, taking to the other side of the arena now.
Security has lost control. Look, the fans are absolutely going crazy here. Oh, my gosh. The Dirty White Boy has got a gash on his forehead, and he is bleeding profusely from the forehead area. Both wrestlers are a bloody mess. Look at this. You don't see this anywhere else. ECW, you want to call yourselves hardcore, hardcore championship wrestling, insane championship wrestling. Forget about it, my friends. Look at these two hombres. They are a bloody mess and still need to go through 3,000 thumbtacks. You want to talk about blood, guts, laying your bodies on the line. The Dirty White Boy and the Beastmaster Rick Link are no two that do it any better.
Oh, this isn't, one wrestler with a little scar on his head or something. Both these guys busted wide open. We haven't even got to the thumbtacks yet.
Oh my God, both wrestlers locked up. And let me tell you, Grant Sawyer, the amount of blood that these wrestlers are losing will be taking a toll on their bodies as far as stamina throughout the match. Oh my gosh, no. I believe there was roughly 600-700 thumbtacks in that plastic bag there. They are on the floor and on the matting outside. Theirs was just be in the ring. They've taken it to the floor.
Well, there's a shocker, let me tell you. You can see beautiful close-up of Link just busted completely open now.
Rick Link, a bloody mess, tearing his shirt off. Dirty White Boy wants some open. He wants some flesh on him, and he is nailing him right across the chest area. Link comes back with a blow, no effect. The Dirty White Boy is fighting like a man possessed. Oh no!
Snap there into the thumbtack!
Oh my gosh, he just landed square to those thumbtacks, his upper and lower back area, and the Dirty White Boy, listen, is screaming in pain.
Well, without a doubt, they've got to be sticking out of his back right now. A horrible fall he took on him.
Rick Link is sizing up the Dirty White Boy. He throws him in. The Dirty White Boy is bleeding. I have heard that there are paramedics in the locker room area at this time, along with EMTs from the local hospital here. This one has lost control. The fans are getting their money's worth here tonight.
Dirty White Boy is just a bloody, beaten mess in the ring. I mean, God, if he doesn't mount any kind of offense here, Link is just tear him apart.
Link is going to dump. No, don't dump him right on him. Oh my gosh. Oh, he almost just nailed a bunch of thumbtacks into the eye area, very gentle area, and into the facial area. The Dirty White Boy and Rick Link are bruised, they're battered, and they're bloodied. Folks, this one is going to go down as probably one of the worst hardcore matches that New Dimension Wrestling has ever seen.
White Boy with the low blow on Link. Link staggered a little bit, and he falls backwards under the thumbtacks.
Oh my God, look at Link's chest area. It is a bloody mess. Look at those thumbtacks, folks. You want to say wrestling is fake? Those are real thumbtacks sticking out of the back and head area of the Beastmaster Rick Link. I want to see any man step into the ring and take the beatings that these wrestlers are taking. Abdul the Butcher, the Iron Sheik, One Man Gang, Carlos Colon, if you're out there too, come on down. You can line up too if you want to get in the hardcore division of New Dimension Wrestling.
Oh, without a doubt, and that's not just a petty challenge. That is a legit challenge to anyone that wants to try out this hardcore division of NDW.
Grant Sawyer, I was looking at those thumbtacks before the matches this evening, and believe me when I tell you, those are real thumbtacks in those rings, folks, and these gentlemen are putting their lives on the line, risking legs, limbs, bodies, anything you name it, to get a victory here, and for Rick Link, obviously retain the World's Brass Knuckles Championship.
Oh, indeed. In fact, I saw some fans looking at the thumbtacks earlier, too. Apparently, there was some question about how legit those thumbtacks were, and they were shown to some ringside fans, and believe me, those fans found out real quickly how legitimate those thumbtacks really are.
Grant, sorry, there's nearly 2,000 thumbtacks in the ring. All the thumbtacks have been dispensed. Rick Link and the Dirty White Boy have given it all as we are nearing the 10-minute mark of this matchup. Whoa, a big wow! The Dirty White Boy just nailed himself into those thumbtacks, and he is screaming in dire pain. Oh my gosh, no, this is crazy. This is not happening, folks.
Oh my God.
Rick Link is sticking the thumbtacks in his head right before our very own eyes.
That is nothing more than sick, Chris. That's all I can say.
He must have just stuck 4 or 5 thumbtacks in his head, and now a slap across the chest area of the Dirty White Boy. And oh! He just went face first. No.
I believe he's already got a thumbtack sticking out of his head.
Oh my gosh, no. He could bust an eye out. He could bust, oh my gosh, he could blind the Dirty White Boy for life. Rick Link is a man possessed. He is trying to kill the Dirty White Boy. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
There are thumbtacks sticking out of his nose, his forehead, his eyelids, his eyebrows. This is a most gruesome match I have ever seen. The gruesome of gruesome. You are witnessing it right here in New Dimension Wrestling.
Oh, without doubt. I think earlier I made mention of Joe Missouri getting him way over his head, and I think right now he's feeling it.
If I'm Joe Missouri, I would be heading for higher ground because he may get thrown to the thumbtacks if he doesn't watch out. Link, judo chop to the midsection of the Dirty White Boy. The Dirty White Boy could have easily have busted open a major blood vessel in his head. He could be bleeding severely out of his brain area.
Oh, and a brutal crotch claw there by Link on White Boy. Followed by the headbutt, once again falling down near the thumbtacks, if not actually on them.
Referee Joe Missouri. Link just kind of elbowed the Dirty White Boy. Joe Missouri 1, 2, and Joe Missouri wiped the thumbtacks out of his way. He's smarter than the wrestlers in there. He didn't want to hurt himself, and oh my gosh, this is out of control. And Grant Sawyer, the fans are cheering, but I believe they are in shock to what they're witnessing here at the same time.
Oh, I know. In fact, I mean, as much fun as it is to be there, I think they all have a lot of sympathy for the referee at this point in time. They're just glad that they're on the other side of the barricade.
Oh, the Dirty White Boy sizing up Link, a kick to the midsection. And these gentlemen, as we are nearing the 12-minute mark of this match, and wow, both of these gentlemen have just given it their all. It is unbelievable what we're witnessing here. I'm going to take a step up closer to the ringside area, Grant. I want to make sure that these wrestlers are okay, that we are not getting into a very dangerous situation.
All right. There goes Chris Plano trying to... Where is White Boy going? This match is nowhere near being over yet, and Link left alone in the ring. I mean, this match will not end in the countout. There must be a winner, and I guess we just found out where White Boy went. Bringing a table into the ring like this match needs another foreign object. We've already had thumbtacks, trash cans, steel guard rails, chairs, cookie sheets, and now White Boy trying to set up the table, which is, oh. Looks like the typical National Guard Armory table has already collapsed, but he's still making the of it. Setting it up in the corner. He can whip Link into it. This may just about do in the Beastmaster here.
Grant Sawyer, I think the fans, look at all the fans are standing up there. There's no one sitting down, and
Reversal on the Irish whip.
Fans are standing up all around the ringside area and 10 rows deep. There is no one leaving this arena. They're getting all they wanted and more, and he may have broke a shoulder or an elbow. The Dirty White Boy is out. Grant Sawyer, this is unbelievable. Kids, please do not attempt to try this at home. What you are seeing, this, my friends, will go down in the record book. Oh my gosh, no, no. He could have broke his arm. Oh my gosh, this one, 1, 2, this one is over. The Beastmaster Wrigley,
Wait, the lights have gone out here in NDW Arena.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. That sounds like Gravedigger's music. I think that is playing.
Can't tell what's going on. I mean, Rick Link has won this match, but no.
Grant Sawyer, I'm scared. I'm getting out of here.
I don't blame you at all, Chris. Just hoping the lights are coming back on here in NDW Arena. Rick Link is laid out, and the Gravedigger is standing in the middle of the ring wielding a chair. Apparently, he's already taken out Rick Link, and if I'm not mistaken, he is standing there with Rick Link's Brass Knuckles Championship belt. Apparently, the Gravedigger has made it clear who he feels the real champion is as he looks down over the beach. Oh my God, a fireball from the Dirty White Boy out of nowhere. Gravedigger is now down. Rick Link down. Dirty White Boy could barely even get to his feet on the outside. Good Lord, what more can these three do? And the Gravedigger just completely assaulted Link after the match, but just not expecting a Dirty White Boy to get involved in this as well. Link throwing a trash can back into the ring. Oh no, apparently, I mean, the match may be over, but as they say, the war is far from over. Link with the steel trash can crashing down on the Gravedigger's shoulder.
Grant, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm back in the booth there with you. That was a steel chair, folks. That was no, I'm sorry, a steel trash can. That was no aluminum trash can. That was pure steel there. That thing didn't bend a bit. This is out of control. Grant Sawyer, all three wrestlers are outside of the ring. The Gravedigger was mysterious to me. He has got the World's Brass Knuckles Championship.
Yeah, Dirty White Boy with the table. Oh, right across the back of the Gravedigger. Laying down the law when it comes to the Dirty White Boy and Gravedigger, and now going back after Gravedigger.
He is a man possessed. The Dirty White Boy is down. All these wrestlers have given it their all this match, and what a
unexpected ending, to say the least. And the Gravedigger will not let go of that Rick Link's Brass Knuckles title.
He is holding on to that belt. Dirty White Boy's got a few unchoice words here for several people, it looks like.
Dirty White Boy talks, the closer Gravedigger was given that chair, but Link has one too. Smashes it across the head of the Gravedigger. What a shot! Oh, and stabs him right in the ribs with it now. Could have easily broken one with that steel chair. Now whips him into the chair of the Dirty White Boy.
Grant, sorry, we have lost control, and I don't take it too kindly. The Dirty White Boy calling me an Eric Bischoff wannabe. I'll take Eric Bischoff anytime in the ring and whip him up, and you could throw old Vinnie Mac in as well. This is out of control here. We have lost control. Secure on for the higher ground. Of course, referee Joe Meserve can't handle all this. Oh my gosh.
Oh, another chair shot to the back by Gravedigger. Stabbing Link in the gut. These three are finally taking back the dressing room as you look at the remains of this match.
What a great night of wrestling we have seen here at Grant Sawyer in Thomasville, North Carolina. Only in New Dimension Wrestling will this take place, folks. And once again, if you want to get a hold of us, 336-882-4921 is the hotline number. All you keep up to date with New Dimension Wrestling. And for Chris Plano, this is the Maniac Grant Sawyer saying we'll see you next time on another big New Dimension Wrestling taping in a town near you.
Let me tell you something right now. Just like I fucking told you, I'm the Beastmaster Rick Ling. I am fucking hardcore. Dirty White Boy Gravedigger. You think I'm playing games? I don't give a shit. The best of the Beastmaster, buddy. Come on, Iron Sheik Abdul the Butcher. You son of a bitch is what back where you fucking come from. And you think I'm playing New Dimension Wrestling, the Beastmaster Rick Ling, World Brass Knuckles Champion, along with a Manny Fernandez, a Raging Bull, just to show we're not playing games. $1,000 if you think we're a bunch of fucking workers. Come on and get your fucking $1,000. We're fucking bad. We fucking know it. And come on and we'll show you. Yeah!
Well, here's the one we've been waiting for all night, folks. Wahoo McDaniel's taking on the Beastmaster, managed by Lord Zoltan. Excuse me, they were handing me a sheet here. And Zoltan handing over the Brass Knuckles title there to one of the members of the JCs. And referee now beginning his count, waiting for the Beastmaster to get in. I think they were trying to do this as a non-title, and it was already signed, so there was no way out of that, even though I believe that's what they were trying to do. Wahoo McDaniels. Top punter in college. Was a tight end, also a linebacker. Ended up playing linebacker in the AFL for the Houston Oilers, Denver Broncos, and the Miami Dolphins. He was a member of the very first AFL championship team. He was actually a guard that year for the Houston Oilers. Guard and linebacker, but used mainly as a guard that year. So he has one of the original championship watches, is what they got when they won the championship, the Houston Oilers in 1960. George Blanda was the quarterback on that team, and Wahoo automatically trying to do a little intimidating things there to Beastmaster, just let him know that he's in charge. Oh, wait a minute, Zoltan grabbed his ankle there. Referee sending Zoltan. Oh, he's counting him. He's telling him to leave, I think. He's getting ready to raise Wahoo's hand. Yep. Zoltan's been sent to the back. Like it or not. Marietta, Ohio. Very first taping, the IWWA. October 1991. And finally, Zoltan goes, and now we're ready to get started again. Looked like Link was messing with his tights there, but I couldn't tell if he had anything or not, but could have been just tying them. And Beastmaster, he's a mess. Looking around. Don't kid yourself. This guy's crazy like a fox. This Rick Link, he's an intimidator. Pretty squared off even here on this. Test of strength. Oh, Wahoo, a little fancy there. Nice wrist lock takedown. Wahoo McDaniel's taking the first charge of this match. Working that left elbow. And you know, that can actually be a submission if he cranks that the right way. And that's kind of what he's working towards, but Beastmaster fighting him off there. Beastmaster originally trained by Johnny Hunter, legendary promoter from the North Carolina area. I probably talked to Johnny Hunter for 5 years, and when I went to meet him, he passed away. Real shame. His son Tony became a referee and now a promoter. Good guy, Johnny Hunter. Okay, here we go. Wahoo worked his way back up out of that lock into the ropes, and now got a side headlock, reversal into a hammer lock. And he's got the Beastmaster screaming out in pain. Referee in there close. This could also be worked into submission. What it's mainly used for, though, these kind of types of holds. Any of them could be a submission if it's properly applied at the right time and the guy has a weakness or an injury or tired or whatever could happen. But the main reason for this stuff is it's dominance, it's controlling. While he's in charge right now, putting his body weight down on top of Link's. Link's having a harder time to breathe. His body scissored up there in his arms. Takes your mind off what you're trying to do. Where's the guy down? Beastmaster smart, worked it to the ropes. Wahoo finally does let go of the hold. He broke it pretty cleanly. McDaniel's, thousands and thousands of matches. Dozens and dozens of regional titles, major titles. Never had the world's title. But he's been awful close several times, and he's been the United States champion, United States tag champion, world tag team champion. The only thing that has eluded him, really, is that NWA World's Heavyweight title. Or the AWA. He wrestled for both at different times. Beastmaster looked like he's grinding on him there or something. He's got him locked in there. Referee trying to get him to break, but having a hard time there. He reached for something that time. Yeah, he hit him with something right there, it looks like. It's like almost like a stabbing motion. Wahoo holding his head. Oh, he is bleeding. Now, Beastmaster coming down with those teeth of his. Some say he fouls them. I don't know if he does or not. I've never really noticed, but I do know he eats a lot of raw meat. Big overhead right hand there. Now another one. He's got pretty good serious chops. He's worked, in various countries and learned things and trained with different people. He's got a good throat thrust too, like almost as good as Abdul the Butcher. See, there you see that thing now. It's some kind of stick or pencil or something. This referee been a little slow on a lot of things tonight, but so I'm not really surprised that he didn't see that. But some of the fans, you can tell, have noticed it. McDaniel bleeding pretty good now. Band's trying to encourage him. Oh wow, he really has opened up, and now right into the pole. Now the Chief, been through a lot of wars in his life. Was the original Miami Dolphin taken in the expansion draft in 1966. Wahoo laid up. You can see now that he's bleeding pretty well. Now here's Zoltan back out here, choking Wahoo, shoving him back into the ring. He better hope Wahoo don't get his senses there. Oh, another big shot. Now the referee distracted by Zoltan. That really should be a disqualification at this point, I would think. But like I said, this guy's missed several things here tonight, so I'm not too surprised by anything that he has done, really. Shoots McDaniel over on the other side, and he is just beating Wahoo McDaniels into a bloody pulp. I hate to say it that way, but he really is. Wahoo trying to get his hands up and fight back. His referee might be thinking about stopping this. I can't see. He hasn't checked Beastmaster's hands in a good while now, and you would think he would be wondering how he was bleeding that hard just from. I mean, he's been hitting pretty much with open hands. It's what he's had in his hand that's done it. You see Wahoo, he ain't about to quit. There ain't no quit in that man. Watch this. Firing back right, left. Now a big chop. Another big chop. You start flinching after he starts doing that after a while, because I'm going to tell you, I've been hit by that. And that's a serious chop right there. Probably the best in the history of the wrestling business. You know, people will say Ric Flair, but that's where he learned it right there. That man right there in the ring right now. Referee asking for a break. For a choke. Now cover. This might be it. Nope. Kick out by Wahoo on 2. I can't believe the referee is allowing Zoltan to stay at ringside. I think that was an obvious bite. The referee didn't, well, I guess we got what we got. Fist drop by Link. Yeah, he ain't all there. You can tell that. Now leg drop, and he's coming back out in this battle royal too with the midgets. McDaniel's supposed to be in it too. I think maybe, yes, I believe he is signed up for it. Another big overhand right. Oh, reverse kick by Wahoo McDaniels. You know, I'm wondering if Wahoo's going to even be able to come out of this match and be able to be in another match. A little worse for wear right there. Wahoo a little tired of it all, starts choking. Referee just now breaking, for goodness sakes. Well, I guess he's doing it for both sides. Oh, this time Zoltan was able to trip Wahoo. Wahoo said, that's enough. I've had enough of this guy. Run him off once. Now he's back. He trips me again. Link catches him. Oh, boy. Now we got a 2-on-1 going on here. No! He hit Zoltan. No. Oh, no. And Wahoo hit the Beastmaster, and he wins the count back in the ring. The win's going to go to Wahoo McDaniels, and he's going to get that brass knucks title